beat off.
Attention, you are now entering the debarkation area. No talking, no smoking.
Beef jerky?
No, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted.
I had a beat off.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. Wildlife refuges, I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. No, this is soup for my family. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Am I getting through to you?
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Did have shade. Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaveret, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentaveret?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Dr. Evil.
Hi! There it is. Ooh, that seems loud. Is it loud? Maybe it's after yesterday. Just don't. Yeah, check. No, that's okay. A little hot, but it's not bad. Almost. I almost had the timing. I almost had it. I mean, you got to cut me a little slack. I didn't work. All right. I know my hair is very fluffy. I gave it a treatment. Yeah, I did. I had one of those packets of conditioning stuff or whatever from like Walgreens in a box or something somewhere, and in my moving around stuff, I was like, maybe I should just try this stuff. I did not get a blowout. I just literally had my head wrapped in a towel until about like 20 minutes ago. So, but that's too much. We're not here to talk about Madhu. But I think we are entering the phase where not only am I going to keep growing it out to like this business, like full on, just let it go, like just straight up, don't hate me because I'm beautiful Pantene ad. But I think I've got to keep it that long, let it go completely gray, and when I'm 60, run as like the Sam Elliott candidate when I run for office. I was always thinking like, oh, you know, at some point, if I run for office, I'll have to cut my hair or whatever. But I think I might at this point just run as Zaphod Beeblebrox, just dye it blonde and be the David Lee Roth of presidential candidates. No, thank you, Deirdre, for all you do. But yeah, I think the dues just got to be huge. I do have to layer it or something. I haven't done anything with it. It's just been kind of like, I have good hair days and bad hair days. I just don't know what. But yeah, I will need a second head just for all the thinking. Yes, Trump is indeed a patsy. Today I'm drinking, those wondering, Guayaki Yerba Mate, a wonderful tea. Go for the Jesus look. My beard isn't consistent enough, and I have to make it look cool. It's too patchy here, so I have to shave it down to the edge of my jaw, and it just has that dude from Die Hard look to it. So yeah. Can't see him stand here. I got the paddle. Yeah, I got the paddles on the defib machine. Somebody remembers my EMT joke of David Lee Roth. Right out a ponytail is good enough for our founding fathers. I agree. You know, Rachel Maddow made fun of Jesse the Body Ventura's former governor, Jesse the Body Ventura's hairdo on the PSA that they did. And I was like, I don't know what the problem is. It was a straight up Ben Franklin, just bald right to here, totally, just nothing. And then the long hanging, just above the ears to the shoulders. I think it worked, as a founding father look. The most important thing you need to know is that the state of Minnesota has early voting leading up to and beyond the election itself. If you take an elevator in First Avenue under the spot where Prince used to perform, there's a voting booth 5 miles from the center of the earth. Now, I have never seen this, but I have it on good authority that there's plenty of papers to show that it actually exists. That's my Jesse Ventura. How can I not run for office? Because Minnesota, the state I love so much, needs true leadership. Do Ric Flair. Not just the impression, but you got great material. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks for noticing. It is one of my, underused impersonations. I think we need to just go to, we need, probably on election day, we're going to need commentary from Jesse the Body Ventura at some point during the day. We go live. We're watching to see if Minnesota indeed will go for Joe Biden, or if
my entire state has decided to vote with Steve Buscemi and the other fella from Fargo. It's sort of, you go Biden or you're going for the wood chipper vote. Basically, there's only two real Trump voters in all of Minnesota. Steve Buscemi's character in Fargo and Bill Macy's character in Fargo. Goddamn national treasure. Thanks, Kathy. I like to think so. I don't do Ric Flair. I have to look it up. I have to study Ric Flair for that one. I only started doing Jesse Ventura because of Predator. Really, ain't got time to bleed. You know that one? Do a lot check. Well, you know, I'll just do the, oh, he's fleeing the scene. He's fleeing the scene. He's fleeing the scene. Fleeing the interview. That's what it was.
Jesus! He fucking shot me in the face! So, how do you divide a friggin' car?
Got your little friend there in the wood chipper? Oh, wait. I will be on Facebook thanks for the reminder. Welcome to everybody. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. Something? Keep restarting. There it is. Hey, welcome Facebook. Glad you could be with us today. You missed the fun part because you come in late, but I'm glad you're here. Thanks to everybody who's become a supporter over there, and thanks to everybody who's throwing stars our way. I really appreciate it. I have no idea how it will help, but it seems to, but I don't know what it entails or how it even works. But I appreciate it. It's a great attempt. So thank you and welcome and hi.
How are you? Welcome to today's stream where we will be looking at Donald John Trump.
This is the fucking guy I voted for, you stupid bastard.
Right. Steve Buscemi and Jesse the Body Ventura. Jesse the Body Ventura and Steve Buscemi in Fargo will be debating who to vote for.
Of course I'm voting for Trump, you friggin' idiot. Why is she on the floor?
She wouldn't stop screaming. You get my Ice-T MFR reference? Oh yeah, that was a the Ice-T MFR reference was Bill O'Reilly, right?
Thank you, Kylo. Fantastic. Doing walking. Everybody does walking. I carried this impersonation up my ass for 2 years. These people, they're the enemy.
You're granted 1 KK member for every 5 Facebook stars. Oh no!
To see the other guys, right? How do you divide a friggin' car?
Tip jar. Oh, thank you. Yes. Notice the tip jar didn't work in the other one. I loaded it the same way, put it in the other software. Didn't work. So
we'll have to do something about that.
Your shot in the face, Steve Buscemi, is also great. That's the only Steve Buscemi I do. I can't do any other Steve Buscemi.
I can only do the Steve Buscemi who got shot in the fucking face.
Right? That's the only. I can't do him any other way. You know?
Not like Michael Caine, that I can do whatever I need and put him in any situation. As a child was playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine.
Choo-choo! I think the impersonations are just like, are driving the hype train right now. Was I on stage last night? No, I was not. I was gathering up a bunch of stuff it's a long story. I will be, for the big stream on Tuesday, I have no doubt I will be having to erect a green screen behind my couch for the all-day stream that just to cover all the boxes behind me. The unpacking is it's a constant nightmare. And there's still stuff left from the old house that was in storage and da-da-da. So anyways, it's not important. Just know that I drove to LA for 48 hours, and I'm doing it again tomorrow. Yeah, it's a lot. But I'll manage. I'll be all right. You know. And all right, let's start. So Trump, let's see if I can find this. Let's see. This is Green Bay. And then let me see. He's got, what's the full schedule for today? Hold on, let me bring this whole thing up. And then I'll show you. Thanks, Sarah.
Great to do that. It's very important to me that, that I become your most favorite performer of all, because if you vary and you find someone else that is not as good, a black car will roll up in front of your house and poof. Please, everything you asked for is in barn. That's my impersonation of Rocky's Russian handler in Rocky IV. Again, a useless and completely underappreciated impression. They are official chaperones. Where you go, they go. Yes? It's so useless. I want to see your impersonation of a fraudulent oncologist. Oh. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Tracy. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Hail, Hal, those doctors, business people. Yes, absolutely. The thieving doctors. Okay, so Green Bay, then Rochester, Minnesota today for the president. Waterford Township, Michigan, then Green Bay, then it was Rochester, Minnesota.
Fantastic. I think that we might, if I don't blow my throat out because of how dry it feels to do this voice. I don't know. I guess you have to live in Baja smoking massive blunts to even get to the point where this feels all right.
If I do Jesse the Body Ventura too much, Governor Ventura too much, I'll end up never being able to sing again. I could just tell. Okay, so
let's see. So the president's got 3 super spreader events, one in Green Bay, one in Minnesota left over. So let me pop those up and then we'll go to them and get this party on its feet.
Oh, Rochester. You boss? Right? Hold on. Cut to this. Yeah. Oh, Now look! These guys.
We got a whole bunch of people out there. We got a whole bunch of people in here. They know that we're coming. This feels a lot like 2016. They know that you and I have the power of the vote.
Yeah, in 2016, people didn't know that it was coming. As a matter of fact, they thought the opposite. Only an idiot on a campaign thinks this feels like 2016. 2016 was like, she's got it in the bag. This guy's a joke. Everybody's now is like, 20 points ahead is too low. It's too narrow. I'm nervous.
Think about it.
I'm thinking about it.
Allowed a rally. I'm sorry, a peaceful protest.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, these are the opening acts at the
Minnesota gathering. So we'll go straight right now.
Sorry. Once I start doing it,
I'm going to have to do a Scottish accent for a while just to get that out. I found that if you do a Scottish accent, you can pretty much clean out any accent or character that you're doing, where it's all, you know, it like takes over. Loved all the singing with Tig. Yeah, oh, yes, I miss hanging with Tig and making music so much. Absolutely. You think there will be civil unrest despite the outcome? No, I think there will be random fucks shooting at people. But considering the pop-off gun battles and the other stuff that have happened over the course of the pandemic and stuff, it'll be right on par with that. There's not going to be a Civil War 2.0 no matter how much these assholes try to start it. Excuse me, leprechauns are fucking Irish, right? So don't mix the two up. You don't know the difference. It's not Scottish. Really good at that. Well, I'll try. I mean, I'm playing it for laughs. I'm not doing the fucking ill, mate. Hi, from Scotland, Liz. How are you? I found out I was Scottish. I was a Scots doing an Irish accent. An Irish accent's a lot rounder. It's softer and more in your back teeth. But you know, I can also. I mean, we can roll all right around the aisles if we want. So yeah, here. By the way, they look at the new strings on the teleprompters. Have you noticed this? They're securing these friggin' things because they don't blow, so they don't blow around. Because that was his complaint, because he was bitching about it. Where's your tartan? Do you wear a black watch? Wear the black watch. I do have a tartan, but I'm not going to show it to you because I'm wearing underwear and it wouldn't be cricket. The South African accent. All you bastards coming down here with your hand sanitizer. I mean, that's the only South African I do. All right, here we go. Yeah, you notice how he's been bitching about all the people? Yeah, so they've been securing these things. Oh, shut up with the song. God, so loud. And bless the USA, but only the red states. Screw the blue states. They're poorly run, and so they can just starve. I don't care if there's any voters in those states. Hand job, hand job, hand job. It doesn't feel the same with a glove on, honestly. Fup, 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 fup. Thicker gloves this time. Hand job, hand job, hand job. You know, is that a safe hand job now? What is the hair is weird. Okay, so the do was working for a couple of days. I swear to God, it looked like he'd had a haircut, and now it looks like it's back to it's like worse. Am I wrong? Billy Connolly's amazing. Hey, point. Yeah. You can already tell. Shit, I gotta do this. This dude does not like working. All right, okay, song's almost over. All right, hello, hey, hello.
Wow, thank you. What a crowd.
Wow.
What a beautiful crowd. Look at that. You can't even see the end of it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, when right side pans back, we can see the end of it. I mean, it just looks like you're telling people you're going blind. Wow, look at this crowd. If only I could see past the third row. But of course, my massive use of stimulants and European Sudafed crushed and snorted is affecting my eyesight.
What a great crowd. Thank you very much.
Great crowd, great crowd. But anyway, gang.
Hello, Wisconsin.
Thank you for the bits, guys. Look at that. 1,000 bits. Holy smokes. Rob, thank you.
We're back. We're
100, 300.
We're going to win this state. We win this state, you know what? It's over.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Wisconsin is not the turning point state.
Wisconsin. I've treated Wisconsin very well.
because you need their vote as the pivotal win. So basically, it's nice to be back in Wisconsin where you can all be bought.
Days from now, we're going to win this state, and we are going to win 4 more beautiful.
They're not even putting the state in because they're worried he'll say the wrong one because of Nevada and Arizona. So they've just gone to putting this state in. Oh, I'm too loud? Sorry.
With your support, we will continue to bring back your jobs, cut your taxes, cut regulations.
Cut open people on autopsy tables and realize they died of COVID.
Support our great police. Defend our borders. Without borders, we don't have a country, do we?
I mean, okay.
Protect.
No, we don't. This is true. On a legal basis, you can't just have a flag.
Our Second Amendment.
You gotta have borders. Or, I mean, what are you gonna do? Start a Peter Thiel, kind of your own island on a decommissioned oil rig? That's not America.
Protect religious liberty and ensure more products are proudly stamped with those beautiful words, made in the USA.
Well, words and initials, but go ahead.
We're starting to do that.
We're starting to do that. No time like the present. It's not like you've been president for 4 years or anything.
You remember I used to say 4 years ago, we're going to bring back the words, Merry Christmas. We did, right?
And then Melania screwed it up for everybody with the Foggy Christmas. Thanks, Templeton's a rat.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Should we play the tape of Melania? You guys have all heard it.
Big department.
If you haven't, check it out. It's a winner.
Stores, they like Happy New Year. I said, no, you can say them both, but you can't do one.
Okay, asshole. God damn it. We're already into this shit. It's not, you can say Happy New Year instead. It's Happy Holidays.
Department stores, they like Happy New Year. I said, no, you can say them both, but you can't.
All right. The whole thing was they're not saying Merry Christmas anymore. They're saying Happy Holidays to be more inclusive of Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Festivus, and so they're saying Happy Holidays to everybody because they don't know who the person they're talking to, what they, how do I know if Trump walks up to me and I've never met him before, I don't know anything about this gentleman, I just look at how he's dressed and what happened to his head and the weird orange color of his face, and I go, I'm gonna go with Kwanzaa, but I can't really be sure, and I don't want to insult him by saying, Happy Hanukkah. He looks like he would definitely be pissed at that. So I say Happy Holidays. Unless, of course, I'm, working in an Eastern European brothel, in which case you just go, Fuck the Christmas. See you next week.
Can't do one without the other. Merry Christmas is back. You notice that, right?
Yeah.
And pretty soon we're going to be there.
It sounds like everybody's yelling no.
Joe Biden will shut down your state's economy, wipe out your factories, ship your jobs to China.
Set fire to everything colored red. Fill your rivers in with cement.
To China that's paid them off, by the way. China that's paid them off. You know that, right? Although you don't get too much news, but you get enough, you know what's going on.
Oh, God.
They don't like giving you the news. Punish.
What, you mean the fake news?
Your family with a $4 trillion tax hike. Eliminate private health care. 180 million people have private health care.
Yeah. Most people learned that fact from Joe Biden in the primaries.
Take it away and send your state into a catastrophic, do you want to use the word recession or depression?
He's just, no, the election's in 4 days. You're road testing your zingers now?
The word is depression. Biden has vowed to eliminate the entire U.S. oil industry, no fracking, no energy, and gas prices going $5, $6, $7 for a gallon. How do you like $2 gasoline? Good? There'll be no heating in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer, and no electricity, whatever the hell you want it. Right now, you have it made. You're so lucky. You are so lucky I'm your president.
Yeah, we never had electricity before the Trump presidency. This is the weirdest attack. I mean, I know he's going with the Green New Deal means that they're going to cut back energy, so they're going to be, you know, rolling blackouts would be the again, I don't want to help, but if you're going to make this argument, what you have to say is what they want to do with the electrical grid will cause rolling blackouts. It won't, but let's go with what their argument is. What they want to do with wind and solar and stuff and the intermittent nature of those things with no backup, you know, they don't want fossil fuels. They're going to outlaw them outright, which isn't true, but let's just go with it again. And what they're going to do is they're going to shut down you know, anything that produces energy through coal or oil or natural gas. And then you're going to have these rolling blackouts because you're relying on renewables that aren't consistent yet. And you're going to, you know, your heat's going to go out in the dead of winter? It gets super cold here. What if your air conditioning goes out in Phoenix, Arizona in the middle of the summer? You're going to die. Like, that's how you make the case. But he's not capable of doing that. He's just like, Biden's going to make America use flint and steel again. Yay for not freezing to death and also air conditioning. Tell us about trickling shower heads and how you saved washing machines.
And your team's doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job. And while I'm president, America will...
Your team? Wait.
You are so lucky I'm your president.
Oh, that's what the cure. He looks like a happy guy.
And your team's doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job. And while I'm president...
What team are you talking about? Is that an attempt at a sports reference? I don't know what that... Honest to God.
America will proudly remain energy independent. How does that sound? First time. You're energy independent. We're the biggest in the world. Nobody close.
No, Venezuela has way more reserves than we do. We just don't want to destroy our entire country digging it up and selling it.
Biden will deliver poverty, misery, depression.
All at once? He's going to be exhausted.
Will deliver jobs, 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 and the greatest economy in the history of our country. That's going to be next year. You see it.
Totally, yeah. Tell us about the stock market.
Yesterday it was announced last quarter, our economy grew at the astonishing speed, 33.1%.
How did GDP shrink the quarter before that? Because I noticed you didn't talk about GDP in the second quarter at all. So there's two sides to a super V. And the V that he's talking about, depending on how you want to look at it, looks like this. Big dip, rise that ends up lower than the other side.
The largest GDP growth ever recorded, and not just by a little bit, by more than double.
How did it shrink in the quarter before? How does the rise compare to the shrinking? Because I think you'll find that it did not rise at an equal amount that it shrunk. And that the rise reflects the fact that there are a good deal of businesses that went away and aren't coming back.
Right? And that was in 1952, but more than double.
Yeah, it went up 33% of a 32.9% drop. So it was here. That dropped 30% from where it was, whatever that is right here. And then it went up 32% of that. That's reassuring.
Think of it. It's never been anything like that for any country, not only ours, for any country. In the past 5
Yeah, I don't know why anybody's... How can they fit all the limousines in that field that those people showed up in? Because, I mean, with a 33% growth in GDP, I mean, America is literally a country with nothing but billionaires.
months, we've created a record 11.4 million American jobs.
You haven't created a single job. People went back to work, and not all of them.
We have a super V. I used to talk about the V. This is no longer a V. This is a super V. This is despite the fact that the Democrat governors have states shut down, right?
So maybe the fact that Democratic governors have shut their states down is improving the economy. I mean, maybe it's a feature, not a bug. Maybe having all these Democratic states, I mean, if you're seeing numbers like that, then everything must contribute. I don't know why we don't have a pandemic every year.
Gee, does that sound... Hey, does that...
Hey.
Sound familiar to you?
Yes, you say it all the fucking time.
Middle have states shut down, right? Gee, does that sound... Hey, does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, love it when you take a swing at a joke and it just, I mean, hear the crack of that bat and just watch it fly out of the stadium. Anyway, gang.
Middle class family income.
Oh boy, we're salivating already. Middle class
is up more than $6,000 under my administration, far greater than the past administration. I mean, that was not up. That was doing very poorly. We created
no
greatest economy in history.
Oh, thanks for hosting.
And now we're doing it again. Make America great again. We did it once. That hat, see, that hat is now obsolete. It's called Make America Great Again. In a very recent poll, Gallup, they said 56% of Americans said they were doing better today than they were 4 years ago. And we're rounding the turn on a pandemic, and it's 56, and it's the highest number they've ever recorded. So we're doing something right.
Well, maybe there's just, I mean, how much did it go up since then? Did it go up like 4%? Are 4% of people just glad their relative died? Maybe, I mean, I don't know what kind of psychopaths are in this actual thing. Can we see the breakdown of that?
Joe Biden spent the last 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure.
That's why he's sleepy. He's been so busy doing all that.
Endless foreign wars in countries that most of you have never even heard of. I mean, think of it. And you know...
Yeah, I'm thinking of it. Tell everybody in that crowd, many of whom have military family members, that they don't know what countries their kids are in.
At the debate, did anybody see the debate by any chance? So during the debate, he'd say, well, we're going to do this. I said, Joe, why didn't you do it? We're going to do that. We're going to do this and that. Joe, why didn't you do it, Joe? That was an easy debate.
Because he's not president yet?
91% to 9%, they said.
Who's they?
That was good.
Yeah, a good, a Twitter poll by Jacob Wall?
That's like a great football game. No, I said, but Joe.
That's what it is. It's like a great football game. Actually, that would be a boring as shit football game. That's a football game where you leave early.
I said, Joe, why didn't you do it? Well, I don't know exactly.
Is that what he did? Is that how he answered it? Because we can watch it if you want. We can go back. It's on tape. Everybody there can... I'm kidding. They didn't watch.
And then the last question was a disaster, basically.
Yeah, what was it? What was the question? It's in the video. I know you're going to play it.
He said, no more oil, no more fracking, no more anything.
Is that what he said? Is that a direct quote, guys? Anybody got that? No more oil, no more fracking, no more anything? That sounds like a direct quote.
Did he say that? And I just said, we just left a great place. You know that. It was a little cold there. You know, this is like warm by comparison to that. This is a pleasure. This is a pleasure.
Yeah, you look pleased.
It was cold. I said, let's cut this a little bit shorter. But we have a big crowd. You know, we had a big crowd no matter where we go. We have these mass.
Yeah, Omaha. It's a little, I mean, the next Omaha rally is going to be a little thinner.
Crowds. And I'm going up to Minnesota. We're going to Minnesota. Which
Super exciting.
we have a chance, not since 1972, think of it. So those are odds that aren't good, but they like us up there with the Iron Range, all the things I've done for them up there, and helping them when the rioters and anarchists attacked. We took over, and we did a great job. But they should have called us 2 weeks earlier, in all fairness. So they called.
Because they called you when it was basically unnecessary, and they didn't call you. They called the National Guard in just to clear the area, and it was over in an hour because nobody was really fighting anymore.
They called us, federal government, if they called us 2 weeks earlier, that would have been nice, you know? You would have had no problem. It took us about, 25 minutes to solve the problem, right?
It's almost as if there was no problem.
Hey,
Boom. What'd you do, drive a car through
boom.
them? What is that the,
About 25 minutes to solve the problem, right? Boom. They just marched down. But we're going, and the governor just...
boom. I send other people in, boom. They run people off, boom. I watch it on TV, boom. I eat a snack and tweet something while watching Fox and Friends, boom.
Informed us, though, that... So we have 25,000 people. 25,000 people. That's a lot. You got a lot here. 25,000 people in Minnesota.
Yeah, same people from Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan and the Upper Peninsula that drive to all your gigs because they don't have anything else to do.
They said, we can only have 250 people. So they were hoping I'd say, oh, well, we can't do that. Let's turn around. No, we're going to go. We're going to go. Be a very interesting trip. Even if we see 250 people, can I be honest with you? Everybody understands. You can't play those games. That could very well, aside from...
What games are you talking about?
Aside from Omar. Omar is our secret weapon. Ilhan Omar, that's our secret weapon in Minnesota. No, she doesn't love our country, you know? I don't like...
It's her country, too.
People that don't love our country, I don't. And the other, and you know...
You mean like Bill Barr?
All about this, because you've had your things. The others, we want law and order. We got to have law and order. You look at what's going on in Philadelphia, you can't have that. You have to let the police do what they do. I mean, they
Yeah, but what they do is not killing people.
have to do their job.
Yeah, this is Law and Order. This is the, Law and Order. Just...
I watch that, again, Democrats, it's all Democrats. When I watch that and people are looting stores and you have the anarchists, the rioters, but they're looting stores, they're walking out with dishwashers. They're walking out, guy has a dishwasher, he couldn't even, he's pushing it. They're washing, they have television sets, and they're walking, and the police are standing there. And those police don't want to be standing there. They don't want to do that.
What do they want to do? They want to just open fire on a dude with a TV set, or they just want to film it, know that those people live in the neighborhood, and serve warrants on them after this bullshit is over, and charge them with crimes when they can go get them safely, instead of firing into a crowd?
They want to be able to do their job, but they're not. And you can't have that. We need law and order, as we had right here. As we did a very good job right here. We got the endorsement of everybody. Everybody in your state, every law enforcement group in your state endorsed us. Every law, I think every law enforcement group in the country endorsed us. I asked Sleepy Joe during one of the debates, I said, Joe.
Sleepy Joe. They called him his nickname. It's so funny.
Who endorsed you from law enforcement? And he couldn't answer the question. Now, that's possibly that happened, but he's got a very bad memory, too. He can't. He was going, let me think. Give me about 20 minutes. I'll figure it out.
Oh, he's got a very bad memory, does he? Is that how he memorized all the questions and answers in the Lester Holt town hall? Because that was the accusation from the Trump campaign, was that Lester Holt gave Biden
the questions beforehand for the town hall from the people from the town hall who were presenting them, and that he had memorized all of his answers.
I doubt he has any. I think we have everybody. Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Chicago endorsed us. Isn't that nice? Chicago.
Isn't that nice?
With all the problems they have, and they have a great group of people from law enforcement. They could stop those problems. I mean, you see what's going on there. New York has gone through the roof. New York's finest. We have New York's finest. These are incredible police. They could do.
And yet, it's Trump voters, the Boogaloo Boys in particular, who are opening fire on cops.
The job, but they have to be allowed to do the job. And they endorsed me. First time in the history of the police force in New York that they endorsed a presidential candidate. So it was pretty cool.
They don't do it officially as the police force.
So Joe Biden tried to cut Medicare during the course of his terms, and he worked very hard in cutting Social Security. You wouldn't believe that, right? And we actually put it up. We put it on, where is that screen? For places that we really like, we use the screen. It's very...
Right, yeah. Again, you do realize most of these people are at the same events. Right.
Expensive. You'll see. Biden was a cheerleader for NAFTA, which is the worst trade deal ever made, and China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which cost Wisconsin 130 minimum manufacturing jobs. At every turn,
130 manufacturing jobs?
Biden betrayed American.
Wisconsin only lost 130 manufacturing jobs because of NAFTA? How many did it gain over time?
Workers, and twisted his knife into the back of Wisconsin workers.
It's not hyperbole or anything.
You suffered as much as anybody. Biden's also...
Or as much as anybody, or more than anybody, I think is what you're trying to go for. I'm guessing. Hold on one second. I have to fix on this.
Spent half a century, really...
half a century.
Much as anybody. Biden's also spent half a century, really a half a century, betraying black Americans. He devastated black families with the 1994 crime bill. And
you know, because black people equals crime, just so you're clear. That the Trump cannot speak about the needs of African Americans in the country without saying crime like a tick.
He called black youth super predators.
No, he didn't. He actually never used that phrase. The phrase is attributed to Hillary Clinton, who said it once, and she wasn't referring to black people in particular. She was referring to repeat offenders for rape, murder, assault with a deadly weapon, murder for hire people.
Term that's a terrible term. Super predators over and over again.
Oh, yeah. Not only did he say it, even though he never said it over and over again.
And then he wonders why they're not doing well with the black vote. You know, the black vote's not turning out for him. See, now we don't have to go by the fake polls. Now you see what's happening. He's not doing well with the black vote. You know why? Because they remember that, and they remember 1994, and they remember him calling everybody a super predator, and that's a term that they don't like.
Okay. All right. Here we go. New window. Da-da-da-da. Biden. Whoops. Hold on. Biden super predator. I'll just grab do a quick fact check. There you go. Okay, we'll go with Snopes. Did Biden call black Americans super predators? Claim. While speaking on the violent crime control law, Biden referred to black Americans as super predators. Mostly false. While speaking in the Senate in favor of the Violent Crime and Law Enforcement Act, Biden referred to young people who have become criminals as predators. Biden did not use the term super predator. Nor did he specifically refer to black people.
it was Hillary Clinton who, while speaking about the Violent Crime Control and Law Enforcement Act a few years later, referred to young gang members as super predators. Never mind the fact that the Peckerwoods are a gang and the Bundys are a gang, but okay, but we'll give them that. But let's just specifically go with that part, which is kind of crucial. May I? Thank you. So, just to clarify that Trump, and again, the Trump supporters who are clearly in, on all the different chat rooms kind of gathering around, the trolls that support him, understand, support him for real reasons or whatever. But he's a liar. And he's having to lie more egregiously and more frequently because he's losing.
Term that nobody would like.
Yep.
But they're not showing up to vote, and others aren't either. We're doing great in Florida. We're doing great in Ohio. We're doing
great, yeah. So stay home, Green Bay.
Great in North Carolina was fantastic. I think we're doing really good in Pennsylvania. We're doing very good in Pennsylvania. I think we're doing good all over the place. You want to know that? I think we're doing good all over.
I think we're doing good all over. I think we're doing good all over, the truth. I think we're doing good all over. Has he been taking speech lessons from Ben Carson? By the way, this is the guy who calls Joe Biden sleepy.
I think we're doing good all over. We're doing great here. I think they just said here we're either tied or one up or tied or one down. It's like essentially tied. I don't know how the hell I can be tied with this guy. He's shot. He's shot. They said, sir, you're tied in Wisconsin. Normally that means because we have like a hidden voter. People that don't want to talk about it, they just go out and vote for Trump. I never knew. Should I be complimented by that? We don't want to talk about it. Leave us alone. We're voting for Trump, right? So when you're tied, that's a good thing. But they said, sir, we're tied. And I said, that's interesting. And then the fake
They said that's interesting. Is that what your response was?
Washington Post, ABC, right? Did you see that? So we are tied. I was up here 2 days ago. We gave a great speech. That was a cold one. We gave a speech on a racetrack. We got a lot of people, and it was freezing, but I got through that. There was no way that I leave early on the great people of Wisconsin because you don't know about that.
Yeah, because you're warm. And you walk straight from there into a warm car or a warm plane. In some cases, you walk from the stage to the warm car, and the warm car drives you to the warm plane. These folks, however, ask them about the crowd in Omaha. It's not that you leave early. It's that you can't give a speech with any consistency or any clarity. You have to ramble and dangle for an hour and a half.
No way. Anyway, this poll, so we're tied. Let's say we're tied. One up, one down. We're right, boom, very close. I think we're going to
boom. He's liking boom. He's going to say boom a bunch.
Take it easily, actually. I think we're going to take it because we're going to have a turnout probably on Tuesday. Our people like to vote. They like to vote on Tuesday. Not even on Sunday or Monday. So Washington Post and ABC, it's called Washington Post ABC poll. They come out.
Is that what it's called?
17 down. Donald Trump is 17 down in Wisconsin. I said, wait a minute. I just left a crowd of 25,000 people.
Yeah, in a state with millions of people in it.
Or more. They were going crazy. That wasn't a second place crowd. We know a second place crowd. That was not a second place crowd. And they did it to me 4 years ago with Crooked Hillary. They had me, he's down 12 2 weeks ago, remember? Washington Post, ABC, crooked as hell. It's called suppression polls. You know what it does? It suppresses the vote. You get depressed. You like Trump. I like the president, but let's, and in the case 4 years ago, I like Donald Trump. He's going to do a good job. We did more than we said we were going to do. We did more than any administration has ever done in the first 3.5 years. But it's a suppression thing. So they came out 12 down. We actually wrote them legal letters and everything, and then they changed the vote. Can you believe it? They changed it where we were 1 down. but that was the day before the election. 2 weeks to go, 12 down. But this one was 17 down in your state. And I said, you know, I could be 3 down. I could also be 3 up.
Check this out.
I could be 3 down. I could be 4 down. I could also be 3 up or 4 up. One thing I know, I'm not 17 down. So I called up the best pollster. Guy, doesn't matter. Let's just call.
Right now, it's their aggregate of all these polls has it at 8.5 for Biden. That's the aggregate. This one, here's the, by the way, there's the Washington Post one right there. This big, that dot right there. That's, you know, and that's on a day when the aggregate was 7-1. These are vacillating within the margin of error, but they're all above the realm of margin of error in all these things. Now, here's these. This is a +9. It's a -D, a -C. Like, they're smaller groups, specific areas. Don't tell the whole state because they only go to one area. SurveyMonkey's, you know, D-, but they've got 5,000 people in these, and it goes +12. And the reason it gets a D- is because it's so extraordinary. They're already suspect of that idea. But these are, check this out. This is, okay, so +12, +13 for Biden. This is the crazy part about this, is 538, you know, you got Biden +4 in the Marquette School one, and it's an AB poll, meaning it's pretty good. You know, it's A-, B+ zone. Look at this one. Look at the Wisconsin, the ABC News Washington Post poll that they're talking about. A+ poll. Like, they're saying the methodology here is rock solid. And it's got Biden at 57 and 56 in here. And part of it is, in their focusing, is that he's got a ceiling of 40%, which if you look at his actual baseline support, he's got a 36% rock solid nationwide support point. And then that's adding an extra, you know, depending on the margin of error, an extra 6 points to 3, you know, 6-7 points in there. But it's not enough to drive him up there. And then there's also Joe Jorgensen taking 2%, which is some Republicans who might have gone for him, dumping over and giving the independent a shot. This is the same thing with this. See, in this other one that they did, 20th to 25th, they did it in 2 separate groups. Jorgensen gets 3% in this poll, but Trump is down a point. And so is Biden in this. So they both bump down a single point, and it basically is half of a point each or something, brings them down, because it's going to be like 55-8 and 38-7, that kind of thing. And then this is, Jorgensen's going to be 3-2, so they round it to the nearest whole number for these. But that's what gives Biden the 17-point lead. And again, that's an A+ poll. That is, you know, and considering like these other ones where he's closer, they're saying, yeah, those are not as solid. Thanks, Robin. And thank you, Penny. And thank you, Golda, for the stars. Appreciate that. So in here, yeah. And thank you, Rebecca. Psychedelic Mess, thank you so much. Thanks for the new follows, guys. Welcome. And Rebecca, thanks you for subscribing on Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe on Twitch for free. So one account, and I hope it's me, a month. So there you go. And anyway, so this is the number. This is the real number. Breaking news: Boris Johnson plans national COVID lockdown for England until December. Yeah, because they're, you know, this is what we were saying the whole time. You either lock down rock solid and stop screwing around, or you're going to be doing this 2 steps forward, 1 step back bullshit for a year and a half. Yeah. So election day, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour live stream. So starting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, approximately, to 9 a.m. on Wednesday.
John, his first name's John. I said, John, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I just left Wisconsin. We had a tremendous crowd. It was like a love fest. And then I wake up, and then I wake up like 2 days later, and I see a poll.
You slept for 2 days after your Wisconsin rally? Was it that cold? What'd you do, hibernate?
Washington Post, it's all over the place. You know, they love it. All the fake news. Look at all of them back. They're fake.
Why am I starting so early? Because it's going to be I'm not just talking about the results. I'm going to be talking about, looking at, voting and the stuff that's happening while people are voting. You don't have to be with me all day, guys. You can come and go I'm just going to be on constantly.
Among the most dishonest people in the world. Now they have a new thing. They don't report. They don't report on.
Tell us what we don't report. Because I personally have done an entire episode of Rudy Giuliani's bullshit, and I'm going to do another one on probably on Election Day. Because did anybody watch 2012, like the movie 2012, after 2012 as a comedy? Have you done that yet? It's a good time. Because like Deep Impact and those other movies, because they don't actually say when the timing is, they can get a little dated, but they're still good movies in general if you like that kind of thing. But 2012 had a shelf life. It had a specific endpoint. And the day, January 2nd, 2013, the movie 2012 became a comedy. And so I watch, Armageddon can work whenever, all those kind of things. But yeah, the limo jump is hysterical. So thank you so much, SDW Mod 4. Appreciate that. So I can't wait to watch all the hand-wringing and gnashing of teeth after the election when Trump loses. We'll retrospectively go back and watch him going, we're going to win so much. Like, I want to do a stream the day after Biden is sworn in of all of Trump's moments where he's like, we're going to win the great state of whatever, like over and over, like everything.
Criminality, like with the Biden crime family, they don't want to report.
Yeah, he was in office for 47 years. How did they miss it?
Fortunately, we have guys like Ron Johnson that are...
Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, Ron Johnson. He's awesome. Ron Johnson, he went to, he spent 4th of July in Russia last year.
Say it like it is. It's true. It's actually very true what I just said.
Because that is the truth equivalent of going, I'm the least racist person in here, especially when your moderator is a woman of color.
Fantastic, but we'll get to him later. Your senator is fantastic.
No, he isn't. He's totally compromised and very weird.
So
why did he smuggle thumb drives back into the country? Why? Why would you do such a thing? Why would you spend, as a Republican, why are you spending the 4th of July in Russia? Why? What the shit was that about?
And I said, I'm not 17 now. And he's a really smart guy. He says, no, you're not. I said, but don't they have to pay a price?
That was great. Cool story. That was great. It's like this is like a Sam Shepard play every time he works out these scenes for us.
They did
Thanks, Ramona.
Down 4 years ago, and now said, isn't it a bad thing? He said, yeah, but they want you to lose. I said, well, why don't they make it that I'm 3 down or 2 down, or make it like believable? No, 3 down or 2 down is no good, because if they go 3 down, 2 down, 4, even 5, I said, make it 5. He said, no good, because that means you have a chance. That might even bring people out. They want to make it so bad. And they said, no, they're very smart people. They're very vicious people. And they purposely make these polls phony. They're phony polls. And he said, the only way they really can do it, they have to make it so that the people here think you're 17 down and they don't go and vote because they say it's hopeless. 5 down, 4 down, 3 down.
Great story. I'm riveted.
Means, gee, he has a chance.
Gee, he has a chance. Because his people vote based on laziness. Basically, he's basically arguing that all these people are standing in the cold watching this asshole say the same shit he says over and over again, that they're lazy. He's telling them that.
17 down means, darling, let's go to dinner. Let's have a wonderful dinner. And then we'll come home and watch the president lose. But we're not going to lose. We're going to win. We're going to win.
Darling? So the darling story is usually about wind and watching television and having dinner. Darling, let's watch television and we'll eat dinner and the wind will stop blowing. So the darling and the sir stories are basically written by the same. I mean, they're just Shakespeare.
That's some story. Isn't that sad? And he knows the people. He said, no, this is the way they do it. They're very. And then they came with another state where I was 10 down that I'm going to actually win the state. It's a terrible thing. We have tremendous dishonesty in polling, but not only polling. I mean, the
Yeah, but that motivates your people to like show up with guns and shit.
stories. And now there's something that happened. We call it
What is it?
freedom of the press, right?
We call them freedom of the press. Now there's something that's happening. We call them freedom of the press, right? Jesus, the best words. I just have a question, and I don't know this because I've only spent a limited amount of time in Pennsylvania. But does the Wharton School teach English using refrigerator magnets that someone eats and then spray farts them all over a magnetic surface, and then you just kind of form your sentences that way? I don't know what their literary department is like, their English department is like. But judging from what I see,
This is the opposite of freedom of the press because they now suppress. It's now suppression of the press.
no. Freedom of the press is that they may print anything they want or not print anything they want. That's the freedom of the press. If the government makes you print something or keeps you from printing something, the government, then you don't have freedom of the press. I don't have to tell your story. I don't have to post, naked videos you recorded of your neighbor through your drapes simply because it's on your phone. That's the argument he's making right now. We have this bullshit. Why won't they post it everywhere? They're supposed to post it on they're supposed to automatically elevate everything beyond its worth instantaneously. And if they don't, it's a violation of my freedom. You mean your rights to use for free social media platforms and the companies that run them and the advertisers that buy space have no say? What kind of Republican is this? I mean, Republicans, explain your dude. Explain this asshole. Why is Twitter a utility now? Is that what you're saying? And if it is, why are we paying for gas and electric?
Because now they have stories and they don't want to have. You cannot get a story out.
The New York Post is a newspaper, fourth largest circulation in the country, which, used to be like 10th, but now a lot of papers have gone under. The top three are, of course, I think Washington Post, New York Times, and LA Times or Chicago Tribune. But
on Biden criminality.
Yeah, but the New York Post put it out. It was on a cover. It was a cover story. They released it. There's a newspaper. They don't have to promote another news source that's bullshit. I mean, honestly, Twitter, why are you not forcing the Bat Boy story in the Weekly World News to trend? What are you hiding?
We have the laptop from hell. We have the worst things anyone's ever seen.
Well.
And they just...
Nah. I mean, I've watched multiple episodes of Dr. Paul. This isn't the worst. I mean, Rudy Giuliani's face is... I mean, it's in the running against an infected, pus-filled cow uterus as far as things that are awful to stare at on video. But...
Don't write about it, and that includes big tech. So you know what I'm doing? Here's who I'm facing.
What are you doing? Tell us what you're going to do. Tell us, big boy. Tell us what the Republican president who believes in corporate freedom and corporations are people and money is speech, and that's the angle of your party. Tell us what you're going to do to a company that won't do what you want it to do as the president of the United States. Please, break this down for us. And break down, don't just do it. Tell us legally how that would impact government control over every other business. You see, because you can't just pick and choose.
if you create a law or a standard, it's got to be equally applied. Otherwise, it's not unconstitutional. And that pesky Constitution. Even if you're an originalist, you know that. So break it down for me. So the government is going to tell a company, a private company, what they can allow and not allow information-wise to be posted.
A corrupt Democrat Party that spied on my campaign, and we caught them.
No, you didn't.
They spied on the campaign.
That story got posted. I mean, let's see, Barr unmasking probe. That's what he's talking about. That was what we've seen this one before, but just so you know, that's what we're talking about. Hold on, whoops. Minus. There you go. You can see it. This is what he's talking about. The unmasking of Mike Flynn and other people. This was released October 13th. We have not seen Bill Barr since. We have not seen in public Bill Barr, and I'm not aware of anywhere he's been since this story came out October 13th. But this is unmasking probe commissioned by Barr concludes without charges or any public report. Now, let's say they hadn't found anything they could charge, but they found an unethical misuse of government power. Do you think he would have released a public report on that? You think? You think Bill Barr would not release a report that was like Comey-like right before an election to benefit Donald John Trump? You think he would have been coy or limited about that if he had anything at all? And again, I understand why charges, you can go, damn it, they get off on a technicality, these bastards. But there's no report. There's no Comey-like, we're concerned. There's signs that there may be something. It's been reported he's shown up at the White House. Citation needed, Eric. I'm going to need to see a picture of him coming or going or something. But without any public report. So again, whenever he says, we caught him cold, first of all, if you caught him cold, you don't even have to charge. I mean, it's like, okay. Why does he, on the marks, he's surrounded by a huge crowd. He thinks he's winning allegedly in this. He's supposed to be happy in this circumstance, but he looks frigging miserable. Am I projecting this? Is anybody else seeing this?
Exactly.
Yeah, he gives a clue to the person leading the chant. So this is a show. You're watching a Mark Burnett production of a fake presidential run.
I never do anything to just, to encourage it, because they say, he led the chant, lock him up, lock him up. He led the chant against crooked Hillary. All she did was get rid of 33,000 emails when she...
He goes, I don't lead the chant, but let me defend the position.
...got a subpoena from Congress. She deleted them, she acid washed them, and then she took a hammer to her telephones and she beat the hell out of the phone.
So did the Mueller team, so does everybody. Go to your DNI and go, what happens when State Department officials, lose privilege and they turn their phones in or whatever? What do you do with them? We physically destroy them. We can't risk that they'll be stored somewhere and then someone will have access to everybody's account information on this stuff. We totally obliterate them. It's a bad lesson we learned from crap flip phones in the 90s.
I've gotten rid of a lot of phones. I've never hit them with a hammer. Has it?
Yeah. That's why foreign leaders have taps on your... it's why Putin has a tap on your phone.
Anybody hit the phone with a hammer?
Yes. His phone that was given to him by the government that he's supposed to use will be physically destroyed when he's done.
I don't know. Well, we'll have to tell that to Ron Johnson. We can put that. That is a strange event, Ron. I'll bet you never hit your phone with a hammer. No, it's called you throw it out, right?
Yeah, you just throw it in the garbage. I mean, it's just got your passwords and your pictures and everything on it. And it's not like a foreign entity could break into an old phone.
Throw out your phone. You start all over again.
Yeah, you just throw it out and start all over again. This is Donald Trump explaining his use of burner phones when dealing with porn star payoffs.
No, we got a corrupt bunch of people. But think of it.
Okay, I'm thinking about it. So you still haven't explained to me the whole thing about how you get big tech to do whatever you're going to get it to do. The premise does fit with his adoration of TV ratings and viewer counts. Definitely seems like some level of show production is going on. Yeah, this is absolutely. There's somebody running the chance. It's in the teleprompter so that they can run through these things because they're starting to get timed out. I mean, wanders, but basically they're all in queue. And then he'll go when he's done. He sometimes will go, all right, cut, get it out of your system, like that.
Up here alone. Think of this. I have the.
Wait. Are we going to the lonely guy section of the whole thing? Hold on.
But think of it.
Okay, I'm thinking.
All up here alone. Think of this. I have the Democrats. They impeached me for making a phone call. No, I make a phone call to a man I never met, the new president of Ukraine.
Rudy Giuliani had met him. You sent him over to talk to him. You even said, talk to Rudy. Rudy will work it out with you. So he basically handled the strong arming on your behalf so you could use coded language. And I mean, this sounds like a mafia don testifying poorly.
Congratulations. It was a perfect phone call. Everybody said it.
No, they didn't.
197
You are literally the only person who describes phone calls as perfect.
to nothing in the House. The Republicans.
Yeah, he vacillates his volume. Sorry.
It's like this perfect phone call. Congratulate. Everyone's telling me, please call him. He just won. Oh, do I have? I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm busy being. Do I have to call world leaders and talk to them?
Right. I say, okay, I'll call him. Get the president. Nice guy. Congratulations, Bob. By the way, if you see any crime, because we're supposed to have a crime, because
any crime at all. Just if you're out wandering around, it's not. Hey, if you see any criminal stuff by my opponent in the next election, and Rudy will tell you exactly what we're looking for.
It's a lot of corruption there.
I rescind my bar comment. No findings reporting confirm my claim. Swear heard it reported. I don't disbelieve you, but I haven't seen any of it.
Please report it to the Attorney General of the United States. Oh, we should impeach him. I got impeached over a perfect phone call. But they didn't know we had the call essentially recorded. Thank goodness.
Essentially?
Yes, we had, because they were making up stories, right?
No, they weren't. They used the transcript you gave, which wasn't a verbatim transcript, to impeach you.
They died when they heard we had it
No, they didn't. They laughed. We all went. I remember. You guys remember the day the transcript hit and everybody was like, fuck, he says it. These assholes are stupid enough to think that you should release this. I remember that day perfectly. Everybody was like, Jesus Christ, these are the stupidest criminals. This is a slam dunk. And it effectively was. I mean, it wasn't even that difficult to get this impeachment on the books. I mean, it seemed like a lot of back and forth because it was, it's a process. But nobody was ever really questioning that he had done it.
Described.
Everybody was like, is he just going to get away with it?
By very professional people. They died because it had already.
They died.
Been way down the track by the time they found that out. I had to do that. We called up. We said, do you mind if we put your phone call on public record? They said, why would that be? It was just a congratulatory call. I said, well, you'll find out. These are bad people. So here's what we have.
Okay, great. This is super, super awesome story.
We have the Democrats. Now we have big tech. Now we also have the rhinos. Now the rhinos in many ways are worse than all of them.
You mean more effective?
And most of the rhinos I beat because, they were all representing one of the 17, because we had 18 running. But they were
members of your party?
Most of whom I get along with. Some of them I don't like. I could tell you the good ones and the bad ones.
Then do it. But he does this all the time. I could tell you. I'll tell you later. The things I could tell you that I'm going to tell you. Like, this is his. I'm going to pay off my debts
with the craziest frigging book in presidential history after this is over.
Beat all of these guys, and they end up being rhinos and bad people. And here we are, and we're president. We're going to have, I think we're going to have something that's even better than what we did 4 years ago. I really believe that.
He has to say that because he thinks the other ones, he thinks he's fighting suppression polls instead of reality. Rhinos are Republicans in name only. That's it comes from, it initially was dinos, Democrats in name only, and the fact that they were, you know, not modern Democrats, so dino worked really well. And then rhino was a secondly, yeah, R-I-N-O, Republican in name only, meaning that they're really Democrats, if you think about it.
Because you don't have crowds like this and be on the losing stick. You know?
Sure you do. It's free. Start charging admission. Start charging $20 a head for all of them. Then you'll see what your real base is.
You leave here and you say, gee, that doesn't sound like a second place. You can't even see the end of the crowd. That doesn't look like a second place finisher. So when you hear...
Yeah, I don't understand how Joel Osteen thinks he's all that, considering he didn't have a Branch Davidian compound. Where's his sister wives? You know?
About suppression, you have some very nice...
He just said on losing sick. Wait, is that... Are we going with Freudian slip on that one? Hold on.
People up there, about 2 of them, but when you hear about... When you hear...
Hold on.
You know, you leave here and you say, gee, that doesn't sound like a second place. You can't even see the end of the crowd. That doesn't look like a second.
I think he meant
4 years ago. I really believe
losing
that.
second
I
place.
really believe it. Because you don't have crowds like this and be on the losing stick. You know, you leave.
On the losing sick. Oh. Side? Be on the losing side? Losing stick? Being on the losing stick a weird colloquialism that I'm not aware of? How, what's with his gloves? He's wearing thicker gloves now because his hands were getting cold, and it makes his hands look bigger.
Here and said, gee, that doesn't...
I wonder if your views and opinions of Newsom on his lockdown. Hold on. I think Newsom's doing the best he can. I think he's doing a great job. It's just California is 3 states.
Sound like a second place. You can't even see the end of the crowd. That doesn't look like a second place finisher.
Yeah, no football teams with giant stadiums full of people ever lose.
So when you hear about suppression, you have some very nice people up there, about 2 of them. But when you hear about, that's right. I know every one of them. Some of them are great, actually.
Jesus.
But we're gonna have a big victory, and this election.
Short end of the stick, I think, is Gale where he might be going. On the losing side, and then you don't get the short end of the stick. So he literally fused 2 phrases together. We'll never figure it out.
Is the most important election of our lifetime. This
I used to say about 2016.
is a more important election than the last one, and I never thought I'd say it.
Right, he'd never thought he'd.
Because they have gone so far radical left, and we have to make this final step.
The losing sick is The Walking Dead losing sick.
We're gonna be normalizing our country, really.
This is him making the normal life's okay. So all the polls show that one of the ways that Biden is actually winning, he's got an extra 2 points everywhere because people will just want shit to go back to normal instead of this constant blathering that this asshole does and waking up every morning wondering if he's launched a nuclear strike or some shit because he's losing it. So they've started adding to the speech. We've seen this a bunch of times where he says normal life. We just want our lives back. We went back to normal. And then he says 7 months ago, which is so screwy because it's right before lockdown. I don't know why anybody... Hey, you know, if you could reset to a moment in the past that really, you know, shows you like where America was going and we could start fresh from that point, would you do it 2 weeks before the lockdown? Or in this case, 3 days? Anyways, so this is like normal life. Normalizing means what we're experiencing right now becomes life in America. That the racial strife and riots and police violence and voter fraud, like nobody can trust the voting system, and the idea that the stock market taking a shit yesterday, and a pandemic killing 250,000 people. Normalizing means that becomes the norm.
Make this final step, and we're going to be normalizing our country, really normalizing our country. And you know what else normalizes its success?
What it normalizes it? We'll normalize it with success, because success is really normal if you think about it. Failure isn't normal.
I'll tell you, before the plague came in from China, they should have never let it happen. But before the plague came in...
Why'd you let it happen?
From China, I was getting calls from people that you would least expect.
Yeah, who? Because right before this shit hit the fan, you were being impeached. You just bitched about them impeaching you for a perfect phone call. Were they calling you like, hey, I know we just impeached you for a perfect phone call, and I'm still pissed the Senate didn't back us up and kick your ass out, but hey, I gotta say, good job on the trade deficit being higher than it was.
It was time. We had the best numbers, the best employment, the best everything. The stock
best everything. The best drop in
market all-time high. Everything was the best. And they were like, let's talk. And it was
were they?
Happening.
Behind the scenes, everybody really loves me. They just lie because they want to win.
And then we got hit with the plague. Success brings this country together. And we're going to have...
Totally.
We're going to have success next year.
We're
going to have success next year. You know, the most successful year Wisconsin ever had
was last year, because that's true of every state you're in, even though it's not true.
It was last year.
No, it isn't.
You're going to have a year. I mean, unless some guy gets in that wants to quadruple your taxes, which he wants to do. He's the only guy I've ever seen. We will raise your taxes.
And he's 12 points ahead of you in Wisconsin. How are you losing to a guy with dementia, worst candidate ever, who's running on a ticket of raising taxes and apparently getting rid of energy entirely, who doesn't like God, guns, or oil, and you're losing to him by this? How is it even close? You must be awful.
Life I've seen.
How are you within the margin of error of someone who's running to raise everyone's taxes by? I mean, he's not. But
politicians say we're going to cut your taxes. He's the only guy ever campaigning on he's going to increase your taxes. In 2016,
and he's winning. What is that?
Wisconsin voted to fire this corrupt.
That's a good point. Fake. It is fake polls. But even he is lamenting that he's within the margin of error.
Political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president.
And now that you've been inside, they want to elect someone who hasn't been president to have your job.
Who is finally putting America first. If I don't sound like a typical politician, it's because I'm not a politician, if that's okay. And if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment.
Yeah, he screws up the rules of the Washington establishment. Nobody gives a shit if you follow the rules of George Washington.
Always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment. It's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight harder for you than any president at any time in the history of our country.
And I can be more presidential than everybody but Abraham Lincoln. When he puts on the hat, it's hard to beat him because presidencies are all about imagery. I'm going to have what's in the prompter memorized. I mean, I kind of do already. But thanks, guys. Anya, number 3, keeper. Like keep them locked. Keep them locked.
Why does he always go into the I'm being bum rushed by the Secret Service pose? That one? I mean, it looks like a Woody Allen pose. Because, you know, I've many times in, you know, history.
That's so nice. Thank you. That's a chant that has never been heard politically. Nobody's ever, even these people, there's never been a time. We like Ronald Reagan, we like people, but they've never had that chant, so it's an honor. And don't keep it going too long because I'll start to cry. I'll go. And we can't tell President Xi of China that the president was crying because they said they loved him, right? And
why? Is that a sign of weakness? By the way, for the record, most of the time, unless something's really, really sad, the one thing that can make me cry is when people are appreciative of something that was really exhausting or hard to do. You ever find that? Like, because if I'm exhausted and all that, if somebody just goes, you're doing all right, man. Like, that'll make it way worse. Right?
Fake news would report it. President Trump broke down in tears as they shouted. Somehow it doesn't work for us, right? We can't do that, right? Look at him. He goes, no way, you can't do it.
Don't be a queer. That's what he's talking about. This is it. This is 100%.
Now we appreciate it. It's a chant that nobody's ever heard before. It started happening like 6 weeks ago, and I said, man, that's very unusual.
It's weird. It's right about the time we hired Mark Burnett's people to help us out after the RNC to try and pick stuff up. And after, wait, when was... Yeah, it was about 6 weeks ago that, has it been that long? Jesus Christ, it's all running together. Brad Parscale went to jail?
But it's a beautiful chant, and I appreciate it. I'm not just running against Sleepy Joe Biden. I'm running against the left-wing media, the big tech giants, and the Washington swamp, and it's deep and vicious. And they can't believe what's happening. They can't believe it. They would have taken most people out. Almost anybody would have been taken out, and I have been helped.
How has there been presidents before?
A lot by that man right there named Ron Johnson. I have.
Yes.
He's a tough guy and he's a smart guy,
and they have naked pictures of him in Russia too.
I knew it earlier than anybody else. I knew it. I had a meeting with Ron Johnson, and we were going over a very complex tax. Most people had no idea what we were even talking about. He understood.
Okay, break it down.
It. So.
By the way, I guarantee what he is talking about right now. Listen to this real quick, and I want to explain something to you because this has to do with shit I watch of him that I don't put on the show because it's a waste of goddamn time. It's other little interviews that he does and stuff and whatever.
A very complex tax.
But listen to this little setup.
Everybody else, I knew it. I had a meeting with Ron Johnson, and we were going over a very complex tax. Most people had no idea what we were even talking about. He understood it so good. I mean, he really understood it. So I knew a long time ago what you had.
He understood so well. Not so good, so well. But we'll fix that. That's language. What he's talking about is restaurant deductibility. It is the only tax element that Donald Trump himself talks about. And he tries to get everybody else to understand that he thinks it's important. It's a bunch of bullshit. He would just write off entertainment all the time. So it was one of his ways of not paying taxes. It was his favorite way. Take everybody to dinner at the strip club, and the whole strip club trip, all of the money you spend, and the money you spend after entertaining is all a tax write-off. That's what he's talking about. And Ron Johnson grinned and nodded through the whole, oh yeah, it's a big win. Absolutely. We got to get that back. That's fantastic. Good thinking, boss. And by saying that, like, he thinks Ron Johnson understands or agrees with him on this ridiculous concept. It's not anything else. Like, it's super complicated, blah, blah. I guarantee that if anybody pins him down and says, what was it? He will talk about the ability to write off going to a restaurant for dinner on your taxes. That's it. That's 100% it. It's the only tax thing he talks about.
Don't lose him. Don't ever lose him. You need to show up in
He's going to lose.
numbers and deliver a blistering defeat to these corrupt forces, and they are corrupt as hell. They're trying to take over our country.
Hell's not actually corrupt. It's actually a very clearly defined linear hierarchy.
Not corrupted. I mean, if a corrupt hell is heaven because all the tortures become pleasure because they're being undermined. It's a shitty analogy.
And we caught them. They're coming for your guns, they're coming for your jobs, and they're coming for your freedom. If you think about it.
If you think about it, how? How are they coming for your freedom?
Your vote will stop them on November 3rd. Get out there, you gotta vote. It's the most important issue. One of the most truly important issues. You don't like to even mention it, but it's law and order. And I mentioned.
Why do you not like to mention law and order?
That to Biden during one of the debates. I said, hey, Joe, say the words law and order. Can you do it? He wouldn't do it because he didn't want to lose the radical left.
Why is the radical left against law and order? That's another thing I haven't figured out yet. Why would he lose? First of all, it's a great show. Secondly, old joke, but it's fun. And secondly, most people don't have an issue with law and order at all. The problem is like rogue cops extrajudicially killing people or being violent with innocent people. That's outside the law. That is a violation of the law. Having law and order isn't the problem. Yeah.
He didn't want to lose them. Joe Biden and his party have spent.
Did he say law and order? I'm a criminal minds person. I can't vote for him.
The entire year inciting violence and hatred against our police officers. And he refuses to say you got to stop it. You cannot run through Portland and destroy the city. I mean, it's been going.
No, you got to walk. I mean, there's too many places. You can't just run by. You got to make sure that your Molotov cocktail lands somewhere valuable and doesn't just hit another Antifa member. That's awkward.
We could stop it in 30 minutes.
You were there for days.
You know, in Seattle, I said, I don't care. We waited and waited. The governor never called. We waited. I said, you got to go. And they took over a part of the city. I mean, this is to even talk about this. Who would think of this, Seattle?
Yeah, that you're still talking about this shit. I mean, you still talk about Hillary's emails, and that was bullshit, too. So none of us are surprised. But please, go ahead.
And we were going in.
Yeah, I don't know why he's wearing the OJ gloves either. Because that's the only thing you can think of. Like, it just looks like, I mean, if he wasn't such a cream puff as far as physical ability, it would look like he's the strangle or punch guy during the interrogation.
We told them we're coming in the morning. And you know what they did that evening? They raised their hand and they left. That was the end of it. And a lot of people are paying a big price, by the way. But they raised their hands and they left. Or the statues. We signed a law. You knock down statues. They were knocking down statues all over the country. You knock down statues, you go to jail for 10 years. It's an old law.
We signed a law. It's an old law. So you didn't sign a law like this. Is so. Thanks, Nika.
It's amazing how we haven't.
It's amazing how you think you did shit that happened under other presidents.
Seen too much trouble with statues. There were groups that formed. They wanted to do it. They wanted, and then they said, "Let's get the hell out of here." 10 years. It says 10 years in prison. Old law that we reenacted.
You reenacted it? Did you wear a tricorn hat and, was it a Tea Party outfit kind of a thing? We're reenacting an old law.
Could never get that passed today with this crazy group, Nancy Pelosi and crying Chuck Schumer. Crying Chuck.
Well, explain to us. So, you just said a minute ago that it's shameful to cry and you can't have people knowing that you cry, and now we're going to call him Crying Chuck. All right.
Schumer and Nancy would never pass anything like that. They'd say, no, you're allowed to rip down anything you want. You know.
No, they're not.
We have a D.C. mayor that set up a commission, right, to talk about all of the things, cancel culture, let's talk about. They don't like the Washington Monument. They want it renamed or taken down. This was their recommendation. Don't worry about it. We're not doing, I promise you.
Nobody is.
They don't like the Thomas Jefferson Memorial because they don't like it. They don't even know why. Tell me why. And
you don't know why.
They don't like even the Lincoln Memorial, right? They don't like the Lincoln. So they wanted recommendations to change the name or take them down. And I said, I think this commission should be immediately disbanded because it's not going anywhere. But they are. I mean, this is a fact. Take down the Washington Monument. These people are stone cold crazy. You have to go out and you have to vote.
Yeah, Biden, who's been in government for 47 years, public service, some would even say, is running on taking down the Washington Monument.
Biden stands with the rioters and looters, and Biden wouldn't say anything about the report. They asked him about the report. He didn't want to comment. I have no comment. Do you want to take down
What report?
the Washington Monument, sir? I have no comment on that. He has no clue.
Who asked Biden about this commission? And he was like, I can't. No comment. He's just making up interactions that didn't happen. The next time we hear this story about Biden being asked, it'll be that they scooped him up so he couldn't answer because he was going to say the wrong thing. I don't know. Who's Washington? Blah, blah, blah.
He never had much of a clue. Now we know I stand with the heroes of law enforcement. These are great people, and we have to help them.
Yeah. We all stand with the good people of law enforcement. It's the dangerous, psychopath, racist people that have infiltrated police departments that we have to be concerned about.
If Biden wins, the rioters and the streets, they'll be running your federal government. They'll be running your government.
Really? Is that how we're going to pick people for the cabinet?
No city, no family, and no community will be safe.
No.
The Biden-Harris, how about Harris?
What? Wait, no community? No city? What about Democrat run ones? I thought we were a protected class. What the hell? Wait a minute. I'm not even sure about my Biden vote anymore. He's going to send. I thought you only were going to send rioters to bother sorority women. What in the suburbs?
Kamala.
Kamala.
And you have to say her name right, or she gets very upset, right?
Kamala. Yeah, you're saying it wrong.
Even though she doesn't say it right,
She doesn't say her own name right. That's what we're running on? By the way, hold on one second. I want to show you something. I just say for the record that Biden comes out and does a speech. This is what their site, what Biden's group puts out for his Minnesota thing. And they have this is his, his campaign puts this out. They have a sign language interpreter all the time. They have rotating ones. Trump never does this shit.
Folks, it's a question no one should have to face in America. That's why I fought so hard, and why Obamacare was such a big thing. It's unconscionable.
The people, all the cars honking.
It's unconscionable that Donald Trump, from the day he got elected till right now, he's fighting in court to rip that peace of mind away from tens of millions of Americans. But we're not going to let him do it. We're never going back to those days.
Coherent speech. He goes off the teleprompter or the prepared remarks, rather, for one sentence here and there. He doesn't have to do this. There's no dual teleprompters that close to him. I mean, I think he's probably got one in front that runs most of the speech, because it's not unheard of, especially if you're doing filmed speeches, to have, it out there. But that means that Biden is looking at a teleprompter that is at least 100 feet ahead of him. At least. And it's probably large enough so that he can see it, but it's far away. Trump is waddling back and forth between two teleprompters that are like this. And he's basically just trading off sentences to each of these to give the illusion that he's just kind of riffing when he's not. And the other thing is, they know he riffs, and you can see it when they pull back. So I don't know what his point is with he was running on the idea that anybody uses a teleprompter is weak anyways, and here he is with two of them nailed down because if the wind blows him out, he's going to miss his cue for them to yell, "We love you."
But the Biden-Harris plan would end cash bail, releasing 400,000.
So she can't say her own name, and he never
that part is an amazing piece right there. So let's.
Even though she doesn't say it right, you know. But the Biden.
That's a lot of cackling. Who brought the witch? I mean, I know it's Halloween, but for God's sake.
Harris plan would end cash bail, releasing 400,000 dangerous criminals immediately onto your streets.
Wait, 400,000 immediately? How many violent criminals are being held, I guess, before, just for overnight? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to understand the concept that he's trying to apply here.
Even though she doesn't say it right, you know. But the Biden-Harris plan would end cash bail, releasing 400,000 dangerous criminals immediately onto your streets. Murderers and rapists. This is what's
Murderers and rapists don't get cash bail.
going on is crazy. When the violence...
They don't make bail if they're murderers or rapists most of the time. And, I mean, I don't know exactly who these judges are.
Mob came to a place known as Kenosha. Did you ever hear of Kenosha? Because I did. Remember what I did?
If I hadn't come into Kenosha, it wouldn't even exist anymore.
If I didn't activate immediately...
Activate? Like... Blubber twins, powers, activate. If you didn't activate immediately...
Kenosha would not be there any longer.
He means activate the National Guard or something, I think.
Going to take it down. Biden opposed sending in the National Guard, and I insisted on it. And I frankly wish the governor asked me sooner. But at least he asked me. But we came in, and that was over in about another 15 minutes, right? That didn't take long. That didn't take long. And we saved Kenosha, so you still have Kenosha. They knocked down, they burned a couple of buildings down. I met with the people, and really good people. One was there 100 years, a photography store. It was 100 years. They burned down the store, but...
No, that was the old owner. That was the old owner, the original owner, or whomever, who's a Trump supporter. And because the other person wouldn't do the presser with you.
It's going to get...
That was for the RNC.
Rebuilt, but we stopped it. That whole area would have been burned to the ground. So we came in.
Kenosha, gone.
And it was so easy, too. It's easy.
Yeah, it's super easy, especially when it's not actually the threat you say it is.
But you sometimes have to meet force with force. You can't just stand back, sit back, and watch it take place, like they did in Minneapolis. And then we went in, and it took place very quickly. Like, usually if it takes, like, more than a half an hour to wipe the whole thing out, I say you're not doing a very good job. Biden's running mate, the most liberal senator in America, even urged their supporters to donate to a fund that bailed out the rioters, took them right out of jail, including a cop killer or an attempted cop killer. Biden wants to lock down your homes.
Did that person ever get tried for that thing? An alleged cop killer, you mean? By the way, just to be abundantly clear, if there is a trial about this alleged person that allegedly exists, the President of the United States has just guaranteed that they will get off because he has made it, by not using the word allegedly and being the President of the United States, he has made it so that they cannot get a fair trial. If you're the lawyer for this quote-unquote alleged cop killer, who probably isn't in this group, but let's just humor him in this argument, that by saying that out loud, he's saying that they are guilty of being a cop killer or attempting to kill a cop, which means their lawyer can argue they can't get a fair trial and therefore they should be turned free. This is like...
He's ready to lock it down. I mean, you guys are already in a lockdown, so you might not notice it as much. Hey, Governor, you got to open up your state here. You got to open it up. Got to open up your state.
Got to open up your state. Like these weird, like, echoes. It's like Jim Gaffigan's character that he does when the old lady character that he kind of does.
Gotta open it up. You know, it's sad. It's sad. You gotta go back. You understand? You're gonna socially distance. You're gonna do all the things you want to do, but I mean, we're having these outdoor rallies. It's they say outdoor. Normally, we'd go into an arena. I actually like this stuff better, although sometimes it's snowing and sleet.
He's not done one where it's snowing and sleeting.
I loved that last stop, but it was the rain was pouring like sideways. It was going.
It was raining up, is what the president is saying.
That stuff. That's when you say, I love the indoor arenas, but I like these. With a day like this, it's so beautiful. It's great.
Yeah.
Is there any place better to be than a Trump rally, though, seriously?
Imagine being that sad.
It's great. But this election is a choice between a Trump super boom or a Biden depression. That's what.
Oh, Trump. Now, we haven't fixed the Biden bust thing. We haven't done that, which is the line that, as a speechwriter, I would insist upon. But he's added super boom, because boom isn't enough. Yeah, Zoe, he got a pair of those. Kim Kardashian, when she met with him in the White House, brought a pair of OJ's gloves from her dad's collection.
It is, and it's also between opening up and keeping it closed. You see what's happening in Europe? They're trying it again. They're going to close up. They closed up and they destroyed their economy. Our economy is so much better, so much stronger, went down so much less, and now it's come up faster than any country in the world.
And then it's going to go back down.
But ours is between a safe vaccine, which is coming very shortly. It's momentarily.
Yeah, it's any minute now. As a matter of fact, it'll probably come while I'm standing here.
For a devastating lockdown. That's what Biden wants to do because he has no choice. He will not call the shots. He will not call the shots.
This is the other line that they have to do because everybody likes him.
Everybody knows it. Thanks to our historic campaign to slash red tape and mobilize industry, we will deliver a safe vaccine to the American people in literally over the next few weeks, we think. Over the next few weeks.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm sure we won't, after the election, revise the unemployment figures and the GDP thing. That's, I think if we've learned anything, we can trust the facts and figures that come out of the White House.
There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on everybody, including on the FDA, not to let this happen before the election. So let me tell you, if Biden was in charge of this vaccine, just like the swine flu, he was in charge of H1.
Well, he calls it N1H1.
N1, right, which he can never get right. He can't remember.
It's weird that he can't get that right. You'd think after, having screwed it up once, it would be enough for him, but at least...
The Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
Okay, so at least...
Free health care for illegal... look.
All right, let's just understand that if you screw up the word, you don't know what you're talking
about. The company that his son worked for, that's Burmese.
Yeah.
It's always messed up. Sometimes he does N1H1. I say no. But it's the swine flu. I said, just call it the swine flu. It's easier, right? It's the same thing. Call it the swine flu. It was a catastrophe.
Yeah, but if he says swine flu, everybody's going to think you have a higher chance of getting it. And if the president gets sick, it affects the stock market. So I don't want to call it the swine flu because everybody in the room, when you say swine flu, looks right at you and just to see if you have the sniffles.
And his own chief of staff said it was the dumbest run thing they've ever done. And the lethality is much less than what this was and is and was and sort of was because we have...
yeah, we're not even in the is anymore. It's now was.
Therapeutics now that are incredible. In fact, here I am. I'm here. Right? They gave me a shot. Regeneron it's called, and others.
No, it's not.
Eli Lilly now have the antibody stuff. And I like
the antibody stuff.
Said had no impact, but I wasn't feeling good. I'd like to say because of my physical power, my strength, my young age, I made the case. CNN got very angry. I said, I'm not concerned. No, I said when I got better quick.
He's going to ask for the soup.
No, CNN got very angry. Fake news. CNN is totally fake.
Yeah, they're totally fake, but you needed to talk to him?
I said, no, I beat it because I'm in perfect physical shape and I'm a very young person. Well, our First Lady got it. She got better. Barron got it. He got better so fast we didn't even know. We said, the doctor said, sir.
This is a grown man telling you a story about how he talked to the doctor about a disease that has killed a child as young as 4 weeks old. Enjoy.
Barron has tested positive. I said, for what?
AIDS joke.
And he's very young and very tall. He's seriously tall.
You know who's seriously tall? The head of security at Tiffany's in Trump Tower.
And he's a good kid, but he's a strong kid, but he's a kid, and the immune systems. So they said...
This is him describing his son. Doesn't sound like he's describing a stranger at all.
Dr. Sean, he's great. He's
Dr. Connolly.
White House physician, and he said, Barron tested positive. I said, for what? He said, for COVID. You know, there's like 30 different...
Again.
I happen to call it the China plague or the China virus because it's more accurate, right? And like, you know, about 14 minutes later, I said, how's Barron doing? Oh, he's recovered fully. I said, Barron, were you feeling bad? I didn't know anything, Dad. I didn't. What was wrong, Dad? No, they have a very strong... By the way, speaking of that, get back to school. Get back to school, okay? Get back to school, right? Look at Ron saying agrees.
Yeah, Ron's saying he agrees. Of course, if you said, I think I'll go to 4th of July and I'll celebrate the 4th of July with someone who just murdered someone on German soil, Ron would also agree.
Seniors will be the first
with that choice.
Line to get it, and we will we're making it available.
Experiment on them. We'll experiment on all people.
Because it's not your fault that this thing happened.
No, the taxpayers will pay for it.
And the vaccine, by the way, with or without the vaccine, we're rounding the turn, but the vaccine makes it go faster. The vaccines are going to be out very soon.
Sure.
Very, very soon.
I can't wait for your people to get it.
Our vaccine will eradicate the virus, end the pandemic, quickly restore normal life. I just want normal life. You do too. All we want is normal life.
Yeah, that's why we want you gone.
I'm looking up to the sky. A friend of mine said, you know, you're the most famous man in the world. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, he said, no, who's more famous than you? You are the most famous man in the world. What are you talking about? Who's more famous? I said, Jesus Christ.
So the defining characteristic of Jesus, as far as Trump is concerned, is his fame. Look at that. See? Said the name, didn't even flub it.
And I don't want to take any chances. So I looked up and I said, and it's not even close.
Hilarious. Great story. And it's not even close as far as awareness. And by the way, that old John Lennon quote about Christ is kind of what he's referring to. That, you know, I never said we were more important than Jesus, just that we were more well-known, which is about the fact that the Beatles were more well-known worldwide than Jesus, because in a big chunk of India, the Beatles were huge. Billion people knew who they were, but had never heard of Jesus because of the nature of, you know, the spread of that particular, you know, media as it was, very limited back then, whatnot. That's kind of what he's referencing. But this is, again, like, it's not about, like, somebody said, you're a very kind man, you know, like, you're the most kind man in the world. No. The most kind being that ever lived is, it's not that. It's about fame.
All right. But next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. Joe Biden's plan will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, crash the economy, and lock down the entire country. He doesn't mind locking down the country. The country could not stand it.
But I thought the Democrats were just going to open it on the 4th anyways.
We locked it down short.
So Biden's going to be fighting with
We
Democratic
did it.
governors?
We figured it out. We protect our elderly people, etc.
etc. With losing 1,000 a day, but really.
But he thinks it's fine.
The delay the vaccine thing he means is the vaccine will have to pass safety standards that he is not currently putting on, and therefore it will be slower because it will be safer.
Loves that whole deal. I'll tell you, all he talks about is COVID. He gets up today, he's talking COVID, 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 COVID. And the truth is, we have done an incredible job with the ventilators, the vaccines,
Let's just pick something random. Let's see if... I'll grab, I don't know, I'll see in here.
Nationwide, millions of Americans are out of work, on the edge. They can't see any light. They don't know where it's going. And Donald Trump, he's simply given up. Over the weekend, White House counsel, chief of staff, he said the following: we're not going to control the pandemic. At the debate last week, Donald Trump turned to me and said, we're rounding the corner. It's going away. We're learning to live with it.
So by the way, he's not talking about COVID from his perspective. He's talking about how the president and Mark Meadows talk about it. But okay, we'll jump.
Get more money.
Hold on.
We need a president who'll bring us together, not pull us apart.
Okay, he's not talking about COVID at all right there. He's talking about unifying the nation. People vote for him, people who didn't.
I'll deal with this pandemic responsibly, bringing the country together around testing, tracing.
There we go.
Wealthiest and the biggest corporations are going to start paying their fair share.
Taxes.
91 out of the Fortune 500 companies paid zero in taxes, allowing insurers to jack up your premiums or deny your coverage.
So healthcare in general.
And women will again be able to be charged more for the same health care as a man just because they're a woman.
Okay.
A curve that Social Security will be bankrupt in 2023.
Not a COVID concept.
So go home and tell your parents you're not any president before. And that's why Special Operations Commander General Stanley McChrystal, Navy SEAL Commander Admiral McCraven, along with 24 stars, endorsed me, saying they support me to be the next commander-in-chief because they trust me.
Okay, national security issues. Just saying. The president's going, all he talks about is COVID, 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 COVID. Biden's giving a comprehensive speech. There's definitely a theme of, if you get control of the virus, you can get control of the economy, and we can set this right again. But there's a lot of other work that has to be done. Here's what has to be done. That's the speech. It's not hard to understand. It's exactly what any smart person would do if they were dealing with this actual circumstance and they were running to be in charge of it, not just to be the figurehead around it. So.
Therapeutic, but all he does is talk about what we're not doing and what we're doing. Because he's got nothing else he can talk about. Because no administration in the history of our country has done what we've done. I say it all the time.
Yeah, that's true in a horrible sense.
The first 3.5 years, what we've done with tax cuts and regulation cuts and rebuilding our military, which was totally depleted and a disaster. What we've done with our military and so many other things, you know them all. Nobody's done, and they never even question me. You know, the fake news with all the cameras, it's never like where they come, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Nobody's done. And think of it, Space Force. We could name,
God, we're a Space Force.
Right?
Yeah.
We could.
I mean, honestly, Space Force. Yeah.
Name so many different things under the Biden.
One of the things about Space Force was the fact that you didn't trademark the logo, and Netflix's TV show did instead, and therefore you had to make a new logo. Like everything is everything slapdash.
Lockdown. Countless Americans will die from suicide, drug overdose.
Suicide? That you kill yourself by throwing yourself down, flushing yourself down the toilet?
Countless Americans will die from suicide, drug...
Suicide. What part of the tracks do you live on? The sewer side. Shit.
Overdoses, deferred medical care.
Okay. Deferring medical care.
And you'll have no school, no graduations.
Nope.
No weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas.
Nope.
No 4th of July.
So we're just skipping right past Valentine's Day. I see. Sorry, Melania. Fuck the Christmas.
No future. Other than that, he's doing a fantastic job.
No future. There will be no future. He's going to eliminate. Biden is going to freeze time. We're all going to be stuck in Groundhog Day. Oh, wait.
Biden wants to keep everyone locked up, even young Americans who are extremely low risk, like we talked about. He wants to steal the dreams and the future of our young.
That's what he sits around. Does he rub his hands together when he does that? Folks, ladies and gentlemen, want to steal the dreams of the American people, especially folks, especially children. Now,
people, one thing we've learned,
what have we learned? What have we learned about the dreams of children?
Computers are great, and the laptops, everything's great. And for telehealth, it's been great, where people can stay in. It's really been, I think it's up like 7,000% or something, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's up because no one wants to go kill their doctor.
But for school learning, it's terrible. It doesn't work. True. It can't compare to a class or a campus.
That's right.
They're trying so hard.
Yeah, all you homeschooling people, your kids are basically second-class citizens. Third class, probably, maybe fourth. I've heard as much as fifth, Because if you teach your kids at home, you're homeschooled, according to this president, your kids are losers. Nothing can compete with a classroom in any situation, even with modern, availability of learning across the board, digital tutors, all that kind of stuff. It just nothing competes. So if you do that regularly, it's one thing to do it during the pandemic, but if you do that all the time, your kid is stupid and useless to society. You're basically
hard to say, oh, gee, this is wonderful.
Californians is good.
It doesn't compare, and it's well documented. You're taking a large percentage of a young life out of play.
You mean a few months?
And it's a terrible thing you're doing to young kids. And it's a terrible thing that's happening with the parents, too.
Yeah, being around those kids, ick.
Because the kids at school and the parents are working. Now the parents don't know what to do.
Parents, you got to do parenting.
Their jobs are gone anyway.
Jesus.
Now you got to open up your...
You make our day, Hal. What will we do after the election? Well, first of all, he's still president for 2.5 months after the election, when he loses. So it's going to get nuts. So there'll be plenty to talk about. The other thing is, we're going to be locked down through all this stuff and dealing with all the other aspects of it. Believe me, there's plenty of crazy to make fun of. I don't need him to be humorous. This is the primary source because this is the, the razor's edge of the current unpleasantness. But there's lots to draw from, trust me.
You got to do it fast.
I was great on Talk Soup, and the worst I had was Jerry Springer.
To our relentless efforts, only 3% of the emergency room visits nationwide are related to the virus. Think of that, 3%.
Yeah, and they stay.
Because you know what it is?
Yeah, but what are the rest of them? Sniffles? Paper cuts? Infections?
Talk about cases. The reason we have so many cases is because we test.
Oh, that's why.
If I tested half, they said test. We test more than any country in the world by far. We have the best tests. These are things that we never even had 6 months ago.
Because we didn't have the virus.
Now, if I said, let's cut the testing down in half, you'd have half. Everyone would say, oh, the cases are way down, right?
This is Mike.
But you know what? It's good because we know if there's a problem, et cetera, et cetera. We know if there's a hot spot.
Yeah, just get on with it, right?
That's exactly what it is. But what we...
Yeah, he would be our Jerry Springer president, except Jerry Springer is a nice guy. You guys know that Jerry Springer, before he was a television show host, was the mayor of Cincinnati, and he resigned because he wrote a check to a hooker and it bounced. That's how he got discovered that he'd been sleeping with his hooker, was he wrote her a check. The check didn't clear. She got mad. She went public with it.
So it's very close.
And what we've done so well are the therapies. And if you think of it, the
You mean the therapeutics?
fatality rate is down 85% and more now. Think of that.
No, it isn't. It's back up.
But they talk about cases because, you know, when you hear 3% of the emergency rooms are devoted, you know, it's supposed to be 100% and the hospitals are going to close. They don't know what's going on. It's been amazing what we've been able to do. But you don't hear
Wisconsin's having a problem coming up with enough beds. You're in Green. Act like you know where you are.
talking about death. You hear them talking about, because as a percentage, what we've done compared to other countries is incredible. And now, especially with the explosion that you see taking place over in Europe.
It's a percentage rise. And they're dealing with it because they're legitimately concerned. But what's the sheer number? Again, percentage versus sheer number.
So we've done a great job, and I'll tell you what, our vice president's been fantastic. And you compare vice presidents, and if you don't mind, I'll take the one we have, okay?
What are your other choices? Dan Quayle?
You talk about a victory at a debate. That was one of the greatest victories at a debate I've ever seen.
Oh, is he going to say if it was a fight that would have ended it again?
That one wasn't even close. Our excess mortality rate is 42% lower than Europe's. Think of that, where cases are now
During a non-pandemic year, meaning all deaths.
surging despite very powerful lockdowns that they've had very powerful lockdowns. But don't take my word for it.
I don't.
I want to just show you something on a screen, okay? Very
we're going to watch the video.
special people get this. We have a video on our fight against the China virus and a couple of other quick things. Again, we only do this for extremely important states and people. Go ahead.
Fact is, every time I've called the president,
Okay, he's just playing this clip again. We've seen this a bunch. So
he's quickly gotten on the line. When we asked to get support for that Mercy ship in Southern California, he was able to direct that in real time.
All right, 1 second.
Extraordinary efforts and acts.
He's like, he looked right at us.
And I'm grateful for building
What was this?
4 field hospitals. That was a decision the president himself took, and I'm grateful for it.
Huh?
These were just extraordinary
Thumbs up, OAN.
efforts and
He looked right at the Fox camera.
That I could have hoped.
Playing all the video. Make everybody kiss your ass, because it's an election year. Get video of them kissing your ass. If they don't kiss your ass, don't send them shit, and their constituents will die. And then use the footage of them kissing your ass later, which they didn't have a choice. If they didn't do it, you would let their people die. All right.
Because I think it is a positive thing to do.
When he says that China has been cheating.
What is with his head? Look at this do. Look at this. I mean, this is my hairdo, and this is just letting it grow where it was. So it was what grows and what length it grows. Like this stuff is was shorter on my original haircut, so it'll take longer for it to grow out these parts. But the back of it and all the sides start growing. I just let it go. I cut my own hair, but I haven't cut it in a while at all. This man has like a team of human beings who are supposed to look after his image. It looks like he does the side part with a hatchet. They curve the front part to cover his temple gap, which I have right here, like everybody does. And look at the curve this way before it swoops. Kiss Halloween. I'm thinking with that hair. Yeah, I could do Paul Stanley circa The Elder. That'd be cool.
25 years. And that Bill Clinton.
Video. They're like covering for the fact that he rambles by playing this video.
See it there, and that's what their real feeling is. But when they get up to a mic, well, I don't know if he's done that good. Now, we've done a great job. If you want a vaccine to kill the virus, a job to support your family, and freedom to live your life to the fullest, you have to vote Republican. It's so important. You have to vote Republican.
So important. Here, I'll show you. This is the, I mean,
a good picture of him because he had that was the shortest hair that Paul had was during the Elder. Yeah, here's a group picture. There you go. There's Paul, short hair. I could pull that off this time if I wanted to. That's a possibility. Let's see. Yeah, this one because he wore a headband the whole time. I'm gonna definitely have to get some chest hair though. That's gonna require a good period of time with a eyebrow pencil or something, or I don't know if they have what's like a merkin for your chest.
So we're joined today with some really great
Oh, God,
people,
thank God.
and a man that's right at the top of that list for me is Senator Ron Johnson. Also,
we don't care
about it.
Then we'll get to
I saw that he endorsed me, and I just want to thank him. He's a hell of a champion.
Chest hair in a can by Ron
He's a great
Popeil.
champion. I look at some of his records, you don't even realize it, but when you look at passing yards and touchdowns, USMCA, just think about it. I only ran because of them. I said that during the debate too. I said, Joe, never thought of this. I ran because of you people, because you did such a bad job. He had no response to that.
Yeah, he was like, asshole, I'm not running again. We weren't running again. I didn't run for president. My son was sick. And if we'd been able to run again, if the Obama-Biden administration had been able to run again, they would have trounced this dumbass.
With the USMCA, our dairy exports to Canada are expected to surge by more than 100%, okay?
So there was 1 gallon of milk. Now there's 2 gallons of milk. Will you guys shut up?
Just went into effect. And we're not going
just now
to be losing our companies to Mexico and Canada. We're not going to have our companies close up and get rid of everybody, fire everybody, and move and do the same product in Mexico. You saw that it's probably the #1 reason I ran. I couldn't stand watching it. And
yeah, because you give a shit about Wisconsin. Foxconn? Anybody? Nothing? Do we even bother with that whole thing? Hold on. Let's see. The Trump Foxconn deal. I mean, of all these things, let's see. In 2017, President Donald Trump and the Wisconsin GOP struck a deal with Foxconn that promised to turn southeastern Wisconsin into a tech manufacturing powerhouse. Look at them. There they are shoveling dirt. Good times. And then what? USA, in exchange for billions in tax subsidies, Foxconn was supposed to build an enormous LCD factory in the tiny village of Mount Pleasant, creating 13,000 jobs. 3 years later, the factory and the jobs didn't exist, and they probably never will. Inside the empty promises and empty buildings of Wisconsin Valley. The 8th wonder of the world. There they are. And this is the Foxconn deal that never was, didn't happen. Foxconn job. I mean, the irony that one of the biggest lies Trump tells is literally named Foxconn.
they're going to pay a tremendous economic price if they do that. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. They took millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party, while Vice President Biden shipped your jobs to
Who's they?
China. How the hell can he negotiate with China with the money they take?
They were putting on. They proposed TPP. This is, by the way, I watched another, those other Rudy Giuliani videos. And one of the arguments he makes is that Biden went over, tried to negotiate with the Chinese government, and failed. And that it wasn't really a failure. He scuttled the deal and made sure that nothing came of it, so his son could make money off he did the Chinese government's bidding, was the argument. Now, keep in mind though, when they came back and the negotiations had failed, that's when TPP started, which was an effort by the Obama administration and the other Southeast Asian countries that were trying to get their manufacturing off the ground or get it
back up to the levels it was, that China had taken not just jobs from the United States, but also from those other countries that did a lot of our outsourced factory work as well for a better wage, Thailand, Vietnam, Taiwan especially, South Korea and others. And they started to form TPP because of that quote-unquote failure, because they couldn't get a deal that they liked with China, which means he didn't give China what they wanted. And we came back, and the strategy was, all right, we got to build a wall, metaphorically, economically, using these other Southeast Asian countries. And he got rid of that deal, and magically millions of dollars went into a bank account he had in China.
And the news, they don't want to cover it. The fake media, the lamestream media, and the companies, right? These wonderful companies that obviously don't love our country. It's suppression. They don't.
It's the companies that don't like. Well, and companies are people. So I mean, if you can say it's treason, then why not try them for treason?
Want to cover it. If Biden wins, China wins. His son walks in, takes out $1.5 billion to manage, billions of dollars a year. They walk in. Where's Hunter? He wants to know where's Hunter? We haven't found him. He's still looking for his laptop from hell. That's where he is.
Hilarious.
Where's my laptop? Hunter, you left it at a repair shop. You never picked it up, Hunter. And you know what they go? Russia did it. Russia.
Yeah, actually. Let's see. The most recent story, which is fun, is the story about the laptop ends up being, see this, Swedish security firm. I'll try to do that. Whoops. Security firm laptop. Let's see. I'll try to do this. Hold on. I can type. All right. I gotta find. I tweeted this earlier, so I'll just find it in mine. Hopefully. But the organization that apparently was behind one of these stories, we'll scroll through it, that put this forward. I think it was nope, that's NPR saying that they're hiding stuff. Almost there. New Funny or Die episode, by the way. Of Best Presidency Ever. Where are you, bastard? I know it's in there. Give me a second. There was a... Here we go. We're getting closer. I'm scrolling through my own feed. This is when you realize, wow, I kind of tweet a lot. I really do. Okay, yeah, here it is. So the Hunter Biden quote-unquote dossier, the one that's been floated by Tucker Carlson and everybody, Hunter Biden dossier that went viral on right-wing internet sites was later disseminated by Trump's close associates, appears to be from a fake intelligence firm. The author of the report, Martin Aspen, does not exist. This is fun. How a fake persona laid the groundwork for Hunter Biden conspiracy deluge. A 64-page document, and this is, I think, the one that that Tucker Carlson says disappeared. Here's the work of a fake intelligence firm. 1 month before a purported leak of files from Hunter Biden's laptop, a fake intelligence document about him went viral on the right-wing internet, asserting an elaborate conspiracy theory involving former Vice President Joe Biden's son and business in China. The document, a 64-page composition that was later disseminated by close associates of President Donald Trump, appears to be the work of a fake intelligence firm called Typhoon Investigations. I guess fraud guarantee was taken, according to researchers and public documents. The author of the document, a self-identified Swiss security analyst named Martin Aspen, is a fabricated identity, according to analysis by disinformation researchers, who also concluded that Aspen's profile picture was created with an artificial intelligence face generator. The intelligence firm that Aspen lists as his previous employer said that no one by that name has ever worked for the company. and that no one by that name lives in Switzerland, according to public records and social media searches. One of the original posters of the document, a blogger and professor named Christopher Balding, took credit for writing parts of it when asked about it and said Aspen does not exist. So, okay. Despite the document's questionable authorship and anonymous sourcing, it claims that Hunter Biden was a problematic connection to the Communist Party of China, and have been used by people who oppose the Chinese government as well as by far-right influencers to basically accuse candidate Joe Biden of being beholden to the Chinese government. The document and its spread have become part of a wider effort to smear Hunter Biden and weaken Joe Biden's presidential campaign. Beyond Typhoon, which is who's writing that book right now. The Typhoon Investigations document was first posted in September to Intelligence Quarterly, an anonymous blog dedicated to collecting important daily news, not at all Russian. According to its About section, historical domain records show the blog was registered to Albert Marco, a self-described political and economic advisor who also lists the blog on his Twitter bio. When asked about the provenance of the document, Marco said he received it from Balding, which is the guy who wrote it. Balding, who previously an associate professor at Fulbright University, Vietnam, who studied the Chinese economy and financial markets, posted the document on his blog October 22nd, 7 weeks after it was initially published. Of course, he took part in the actual doing it. This is the fake character. This is supposed to be Martin Aspen, who doesn't exist. Balding claimed that the document was commissioned by Apple Daily, a Hong Kong-based tabloid that is frequently critical of the Chinese government. Spokesman for Apple Daily confirmed it had worked with Balding on the document. In addition to posting the document to his blog, Balding also promoted it to far-right media, appearing on Bannon's podcast on China Unscripted, a podcast produced by Epoch Times, a pro-Trump media outlet opposed to the Chinese government. Balding, an American who taught economics at Chinese Peking University HSBC Business School until 2018, is often critical of the Chinese government. He made news this year as a source uncovering a global bulk data collection operation by the Chinese company Shenzhen Jinhua Data Technology. Yeah. So, immediately suspicious. So, yeah, just saying. Martin Short will now come out with a new character named Martin Aspen. I think I'm taking that one over.
Russia. Ron, it's Russia. I know it's Russia. I saw Adam Schiff, watermelon head like this. I believe that Russia caused this problem. Russia. Yeah, here we go. Russia. We have a great head of DNI. He said, no, it had nothing to do with Russia. Put out a very strong statement. Nothing to do.
Yeah,
if it does, we let it know. We
trustworthy.
let Russia know. But this is pure, disgusting, evil stuff that goes on. And your tech companies...
Yes, that's true, but not the part about accusing Russia.
Don't want to put it on.
By the way, this is the part where he's supposed to be introducing people.
You even the New York Post, which had real courage, by the way, and they endorsed me 2 days ago, which I like. But they had real courage. And they took down the New York Post site. Can you believe it?
They didn't take down the New York Post site. And I just... I mean, for Christ's sake. He means their Twitter feed, and they basically, and this is the thing that Twitter did, was basically like to vet this stuff that was coming out of the New York Post. Basically said, no, we're not going to let you post this bullshit until somebody's had a chance to look it over, because it's a bunch of bullshit. You're basically, this is election interference, and we're not going to be a part of it. And so they put a pause on it. It was never permanent. And then everybody got a chance to look at this. Basically, how they say, like, that a lie is halfway around the world before the truth even leaves the starting gate. That whole idea. I'm sure I'm screwing up that version of it, but at least I know I'm screwing it up. what basically Twitter intended to do was give the truth a head start. Because if it turned out this was true, I mean, what do they have to fear, right? It's all there, right? They've got the documents. But it turned out they didn't. Just saying. I'm going to sneeze.
Of course, the oldest newspaper in the country, fourth largest of the country, they took down the site.
Pardon me.
Now, we got to get to the bottom of it, and we will.
You are at the bottom of it. You've always been at the bottom of it. You live at the bottom.
Guys like Kim, we will. When we win, Wisconsin wins. When we win, America wins, and that's what's happening. Under my leadership, we achieve.
Here's the way you do that line, by the way. When we win, Wisconsin wins, and when Wisconsin wins, America wins. See how that works better? Again, I don't want to help, but this is baseline shit.
The most secure border in U.S. history. We have now built over 400 miles of wall. And we'll soon be finished. They don't talk about the wall anymore. They used to kill me. I'd go through, we'd fight them, and we'd close up, and we'd do all
You didn't get the funding.
sorts of things, and they would go after me. Once the wall started, and once they saw we had all that money lined up to get it done, and the impact it's had is incredible. It's not completed yet, but it will be very soon. And I built it exactly as Border Patrol and ICE wanted it.
So the parts that have blown over, it's not my fault.
Exactly. I said, what about concrete plank? They said, sir, that's no good, have to see through. Well, how about this and how about that? I know it all. That's
You know it all? Like, break it down then. Tell them.
like.
You wander about, you bitch about the television sets in Air Force One endlessly. Explain to this crowd the basics of the physics of concrete planking versus a slat fence.
They said, sir, we want steel. We then want concrete inside the steel, and then we'd like rebar. I said, can you think of a more expensive way, maybe? But we gave it, and then we want on top.
It's a security fence, dickhead.
An anti-climb, the thing on top. I said, why are we doing that? That's very expensive. The piece of steel on top. It's 4 feet deep. They said, sir, that's called anti-climb. It's harder to climb.
So it's 4 feet deep. All right. It's called anti-climb.
I gave them everything. Now they have no excuse. I don't want to have any excuses. And our numbers on the border are phenomenal. The best
the best ever since the pandemic.
we've ever had. Joe Biden has pledged to open borders, mass amnesty, nationwide catch and release. You know what that is? That's when you catch a...
You've already told this part. When you catch a murderer, rapist, and then you give them a ride down to Charlottesville, and then you release them, and no matter which side they're on, you'll say that they were maybe good people.
Criminal, murderer, rapist, you let the criminal go. We argued about this during the debate. He said they all come back for trial. No, they don't come back, Joe. Only the ones I said with very low IQs come back.
No, the ones who want to become citizens. If you don't come back, you will never be able to apply for citizenship.
A trial in 2.5 years for murder. You have to come back. We released them, and I ended it. It's all...
Nobody releases people who are on trial for murder for free on their own recognizance. And if they do, why are you not running against these judges?
Okay, you think that was easy? It's not easy doing this stuff.
Oh, it's terrible.
It looks easy, but it's not. Sanctuary cities from coast to coast. They want to have sanctuary cities all over the place. And free health care for illegal aliens, which will bankrupt your Medicare and your Social Security. You will not...
No, it's for DACA people, and they pay taxes too. By the way, so I asked about concrete planking. Most of the time, like he talks about, like, here it is. This is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. Concrete planking, this stuff. Super cheap. It's also mainly for floors because it doesn't, structurally, it's better laying down than on its side. If you do it, you see what I mean? Like, this is concrete planking. Basically just run wire through it, and it's for show. He wants giant flat walls so he can look at it. He likes the look of basically a Great Wall of China thing, but this is basically the same as building a faux house in a western town. Anti-climb. It's 4 feet deep. You mean 4 feet high? 4 feet copper on
Security,
it.
if you do that, or Medicare. We all have a big heart. I do. I want to take care of everybody. Problem.
No, you don't.
World, if you do this. As your president, I will protect your borders. I will protect security. And I'm one of the greatest losers of all time. This guy.
Jesus.
No, but I meant it in a nice way. He lost, and he went back to the Senate and voted radical.
Then you say he's a good sport. You don't say he's a great loser.
Then he lost again. I mean, Elizabeth, Pocahontas, Warren. All she had to do is get out a couple of days.
Dude is still pissed. He thinks he'd be trouncing him, by the way. And let's see. Can we see where nonsense is? Is he there yet? Should be. Theory. Let me reload this page. This is the one in Rochester, Minnesota.
Now we go live to Minnesota and see if the
Again,
president...
emphasizes that he's out making...
Oh, he's already on his way out the door. Oh, is that him? Are we going? Yeah, here's the speech. This is him coming in. Next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this hand job. God bless the clap, clap, clap. Don't fall over. Here he comes, live in Minnesota. Fantastic. Donald Trump getting ready to speak in Minnesota. Clappity clap. Go for it, you cream puff. Let's see ya. My God, his hands are small. It's good he has the gloves on so you don't see how white they are compared to his orange face. But we do have, it's starting to get dark, so they added a level of orange to his face to get it. Yeah, I'm Governor Jesse the Body Ventura. I will be translating the president's speech in Minnesota for Minnesotans today. And after, most people don't know this, but the president of the United States, after he finishes this speech, he'll go up that flight of stairs right behind him and into an elevator that takes him right into the Earth's core where the Nazis have been staying since the end of World War II. It's called Agartha. Look it up.
That's not my Buffalo Bill voice.
Is she a great big old fat person? I think I got a card in here. You wanna?
It puts the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, precious. It puts it on skin. All right.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And hello, Rochester. Great to be with you.
Oh, Rochester.
4 days from now, we're going to win the state of Minnesota.
Why are there no lights at this one? Did you see his neck? What part about it? His neck waddle in the last one? I mean, his neck waddle's something else. You have no lights on at this one? What's happening?
Turn on the goddamn lights.
And I did not forget you because we were given a very, very hard time by your so-called leaders, but they're not very good leaders.
I beg your fucking pardon. I just don't want my fellow Minnesotans to die.
Found out during
Minnesotans, they ain't got time to bleed.
The riots, and we're going to win 4
Rochester.
more years in our great
We're
White
seeing
House.
a spike again.
As you know, there are at least 25,000 people who wanted to be here tonight. We just
Yeah, but they had other stuff to do.
a lot of them wanted to pay our respects. They were here for a long time.
Are they dead?
Waited and waited, and then the governor did bad things.
The governor did bad things.
Hey, listen, Predator was a fantastic movie, and Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura is a fantastic show. If you haven't seen the Denver airport scene, you haven't lived.
You're far left.
Yeah, there were 25,000 people here, I swear to God. And then they all had to go home. This is bullshit.
Democrat Attorney General Keith Ellison and your Democrat governor tried to shut down our rally, silence the people of Minnesota, and take away your freedom and your rights.
Rights, sure.
They thought he would cancel, a word they are very familiar with, cancel culture. But I said, no way, I will never abandon the people of Minnesota. I will come up.
I will come up and spread a disease.
I will come up. Thousands and thousands of people over there with cars. We flew over cars that go miles long.
Sure. Yeah, they were all driving in from the other event because they're crazy people.
What a shame. They waited.
They're the same people at all of these rallies.
Here for a long time.
You fly between them. All right.
I want to thank the thousands of people outside who were barred from entry.
I want to thank my girlfriend in Canada who's totally hot and you guys don't even know, and she's basically perfect. And she loves me and she's a fox and she's like a total 10, and I swear to God.
By radical Democrats.
She's smart and she's funny and she's busy. She would totally be here.
Are American patriots. Thank you very much. When large numbers of rioters
I'll look at that New York Times Siena College poll.
And vandals sacked the city of Minneapolis earlier this year. Keith
They sacked it? What are they, Vikings?
Ellison did not ask them to submit a permit. He told the
Why has no one given me a permit for the sacking of the city? It says right here, $50 for sacking, $25 for pillaging. I brought in $75. I should be able to get a sacking and pillaging permit at the same time. I understand that the pillaging has to be done after 9 p.m. And I know, and we all know this, that the sacking, that the pillaging is a nighttime activity, and the sacking happens just after sundown. We get it.
Songs of violent demonstrators.
Yeah, is there a laugh track on this one?
By all means, exercise your First Amendment rights. He said that prior to them ripping down your city. Keith Ellison sided with flag-burning extremists over law-abiding Americans. He
this dude's just walking
treats
away.
you like second-class citizens. He believes.
What the hell's going on there? It's like a guy on the street walking by. Are they filming? Am I on television?
That the pro-American voters have fewer rights than
Follow me, Stan.
anti-American demonstrators. Keith Ellison and Joe Biden want to imprison
Man, he's pissed. He's got to do this empty lie.
you in your homes while letting
be good.
anarchists, agitators, and vandals roam free as they destroy your cities and states. The Democrat Party wants you to be banned from peaceful assembly while they allow their supporters to burn down.
This is not a long one, by the way, guys. He bails on this
police precinct right here. Biden and the far left incite violence with their vile anti-police rhetoric and the fact that they're weak people, very, very weak people.
They're so weak, and I am so very strong.
They allow rioters to lay waste to the public.
Oh, no. Oh, I thought they were, like, having sex with fecal material. Never mind.
Streets that financed, and they were financed by you.
What? Oh, I see.
Weak people. They allow rioters to lay waste to the public streets that financed, and they were financed by you with your hard-earned taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, he's winding down.
The radical left is determined to obliterate the middle class. They think they can take your money, attack your values, indoctrinate your children, and
I like small crowd Trump. Because anybody can make a giant crowd that's got a cheerleader and a laugh track section, you know, driving it like Rona and all those folks from the DNC standing around little cheerleader pockets, you know, and people know their shtick and they're handed out their things like, hey, we got a big warm up. But, you know, if you can turn a crowd that's open mic size, then, you know, you might have some chops. I don't think it's
silence your voices.
Hey, get out of here.
But on November 3rd, I hope you're listening, Minnesota, because this is what you've had to put up with for a long time. The people of our nation.
Why is it so goddamn dark? Turn on. Did we run out of wind? Darling, I want to watch the president on television, but the wind is not blowing. How did we get talked into this shit?
Are going to be heard like never before. It's already begun. People are already starting to find out what's happening.
So definitive. The leadership. You know what? He gets better as the day goes on. This is great.
Because they're going to
nice, Pauline.
Show up and vote in record numbers.
Christ. That's cool, Kylo.
And you have already started to see what's going on. And they're getting very concerned.
Yeah, I'm totally shaking in my boots.
We're not just running against Sleepy Joe Biden. We're running against the arrogant far left political class.
Oh, it's the arrogant ones. Arrogance is a terrible thing. Those narcissistic bastards. I hate the fact that those Democrats are always coming out going, we do it better than anybody else. If it wasn't for us, you'd be dead by now. Ugh, drives me crazy. Thank God Trump's here.
They want one set of rules for you and no rules for themselves. Biden and the left-wing Democrats treat law enforcement like criminals.
They want no rules for themselves. Isn't that what you're asking for, is no rules whatsoever? Oh, look at that, a beverage. Thanks, babe. Lovely. Mwah. Love you. That.
Fantastic. You're all woman, and I couldn't be happier you're bringing me beverages.
She doesn't know who I'm doing right now. She doesn't get any of my information. Jesse Ventura. Okay.
All right. Well, then you goddamn well better know who Jesse is. Because it's a dead on. God damn it.
Huh? Yeah, I got to get a Ben Franklin haircut. I want to get one of those Ben Franklin wigs. Yeah, he's bald and he's got the Ben Franklin. It's totally long. No. It would look really cool if he did. He's got like a surfer haircut that's slowly working its way off his head, but he has a total Ben Franklin right now. So I feel like
if I got one of those Ben Franklin wigs, you can find one.
No, I have what's supposed to be the Bernie one. It's too weird. You know what I mean? The front patch, the one John used for whoever he was doing. Remember that? Yeah. It's the same wig. We bought it at the same Halloween store. Doesn't work. Excuse us, folks. Huh? I bought one for. Oh. All right. I know it exists. I'll be able to find one. Day after Halloween is going to be like my sexy liberal, like. Yeah, I know, but they have Halloween stores in L.A. I know what I'm doing. And I've got a whole truck to bring back just piles and piles of wigs. What'd you do? I filled the truck with, I packed it up with Halloween costumes for comedy. I mean, honestly.
Come on. Chris Bono is in the chat room right now. Fantastic. A big fan.
Summer says hi, Chris.
God damn it. You know who hasn't got time to bleed? Chris Bono, that's who. Fantastic artist.
All right, love you. Thank you for the beverage. All right, back to the show.
And they treat criminals like heroes. They lecture you.
Who's the dude in Big Lebowski? Treats objects like women, man.
Morality, while they support sanctuary cities that get innocent Americans robbed, raped, maimed, and murdered.
Jesus. I guess when the crowd's smaller, you gotta really swing for the fences. What the shit is going on? Hold on. 1 second. This is scary shit.
Cities that get innocent Americans robbed, raped, maimed, and murdered.
Fucking hell. Yeah, Jackie Treehorn. That's right. Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women, man.
They ban you from going to church while they let left-wing extremists burn down the church.
Well, we certainly wouldn't want you in the church when it's being burned down. They want you to not go to church while they burn the church down. We do the exact opposite. We want you to be in the church when it catches fire. What the hell? This is all in the teleprompter. He's not going outside the lines at all. This is like, I'm really exhausted. Make it really apocalyptic and fucked up.
While they let left-wing extremists burn down the church, they support crippling shutdowns that crush
crippling shutdowns,
blue-collar jobs, while their own jobs remain totally exempt. They keep your kids out of school while their families hire private tutors.
I don't get that part either. Like, so Democrats are the party of like the wealthy 1%? What the hell are you talking about?
They flood your cities with illegal drugs and gangs while they live inside walled-off compounds.
You live in a walled-off compound. What are you talking about?
They want to destroy.
They want to destroy. They want to destroy. Oh, they might want to destroy, but they can't tootle destroy. You can waddle it or tootle it, but don't tell me which.
Inside walled-off compounds.
The walled-off compounds, having a walled-off salad.
They want to destroy.
They want to destroy.
And work hard to destroy.
Okay. What it said was, Jesus, how do you screw that up? You go, they want to destroy, and they work hard to destroy, and the way it came out was...
They want to destroy and work
they want to destroy.
hard to destroy the suburbs, which I'm...
Let me tell you something.
...protecting and terminating horrible rules and regulations that...
Protecting and terminating?
And work hard to destroy the suburbs, which I'm protecting and terminating horrible rules and regulations that only pertain to the suburbs. Will they move into gated?
I'm just saying, I know he said there's a lot of people who wanted to come to this one, and I'm sure that's true, but they were driving in from the last one, and they got caught in traffic because it's the same crowd in all those places, including the busloads of people that they invite. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, in Minnesota, this does sound like a second-place crowd. You're about to make this old lady piss her pants.
That's my whole fucking goal.
Communities with armed guards. These wealthy liberal hypocrites want to defund the police and take...
Wealthy liberal hypocrites who want to defund the police and live with special secret... What?
Guns.
They have to take your guns. Otherwise, what's the point of... How are we going to leave you, MS-13 to get you... I mean, if you have a bunch of guns and I release 400,000 violent criminals onto the street, you'll be able to defend yourself. That won't work.
While they are protected by armed guards, there's only one way to defend your dignity.
With your behavior?
There's only one way to defend your family and your country.
There's only one way to rock. Bow, bow. I'm just trying to inject some energy into this.
There's only one way to preserve, protect, and defend the American way of life.
And that's with rock and roll!
You must show up and vote on November 3rd.
For who? For who?
In the second term, we will increase funding for law enforcement. We will hire more tough-on-crime prosecutors to put violent offenders behind bars. We will finish and win the war against MS.
He's going to finish and win. Wind. He said wind. We're going to give the war on terror cancer.
Offenders behind bars. We will finish and win the war against...
We'll win the war against what?
MS-13 killers.
He's going to fart them out of existence.
We're going
to win that war against MS-13, and that's not difficult to do. Put down the gun. I am a criminal Mexican guy with a machete that you are scared of, man, because what the... Oh, my God, he got me. They're winding the war. Winding the war.
Thousands out of our country and brought them back where they came from.
Took them back? Took them back where they came from? Or did you go there and pick up some MS-13 who are actually Americans in other countries and bring them here? What? Use your words, buddy.
We will put them all out of business.
Oh, great. Now they're going to have to work freelance. There's nothing worse than freelance gang members with machetes.
We will completely dismantle Antifa.
Do you need an Allen wrench? I can, because they reek of IKEA. I'm just saying.
Yeah!
Fuck yeah, we are!
We will reclaim our streets for law-abiding Americans of every race, color, religion, and creed. These are streets that have been run by Democrats, not Republicans.
I'm sorry. Isn't the person who designs the traffic light system in most cities an appointed position? Or they're a dot person? They're hired, right?
And it's taken too long for them to gain control.
For them, come on, y'all! It's taken too long for them. They're pulling the plug. Why the fuck are there no lights?
Republicans, and it's taken too long for them to gain.
It's taken too long for them to gain this business.
It's not Republicans, and it's taken too long for them to gain control of those streets.
It's taken too long for them. They should have gained control of those streets earlier.
It's taken too long for them to gain control of those streets. We will do all of this and so much more. Only
for just $19.95, but don't wait.
With your vote. You have a very important vote, and this state in particular, 1972.
Was the last time. What you want to do is not start with the date out of nowhere. That's the part you care about, because if you win the state, what you are going to be excited about is not that you earned the votes of the people who live in a state, but just that no one else has been able to win it in your party since 1972. So that's what's important to you. That has fuck all to do with the voters in your actual state.
This is a state.
You dumbass.
You've been poorly run for too long. You want law and order also. On November.
Why is Minneapolis such a shithole all of a sudden?
3rd, vote to defeat Joe Biden and save your great America.
I mean, honestly, when's the last time you remember Minnesota being a real friggin' problem? But the Trump years. Honest to God. I mean, I have to be honest. My first introduction to Minnesota was Purple Rain, wherein a mixed race musical genius tried to find his way through to share the stage with the very talented women in his band, while learning that he was by being raised by an abusive father, he was passing it on, and he had to do something to fix that. Seems like a pretty nice place overall. Saying.
Dream.
When your villain is Morris Day, how bad can the city be?
Save your wonderful American freedom.
Yeah, none of that bullshit Swedish freedom.
Biden is a grimy, sleazy, and corrupt career politician.
Grimy, sleazy, scummy, dirty, rank, stankalicious beast of a man. How do you dare?
We found that out.
Did you find that out? Really? How grimy he is?
A lot of people have known it for a long time.
Have they now?
Who's done nothing but betray you for 47 years. All he's done in that time is sell out to lobbyists, sell out to China. China owns him. Sell out to Big Pharma and sell out to foreign countries. He will look you in the eye and then turn right around and stab you in the back and
trying to work this out logistically. I'm looking you in the eyes, and then I turn around and stab you in.
You're still there. So I'm looking you in the eyes. How does this work? Shit. Does anybody know how this works? So he looks you right in the eyes. Then he turns around and stabs you in the back, which is still on the other side. I'm going to need a chalkboard to work. It's a reach around. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Totally protected by...
I mean, I mean, I understand he's just phoning this one in. They're not even turning on the goddamn lights. I feel like Eddie Murphy in The Golden Child. Turn on the goddamn lights.
Sell out to foreign countries. He will look you in the eye and then turn right around and stab you in the back and be totally protected by...
How'd you get behind him, you trickster? What do you... What? Who is the person he's talking? Is it Nightcrawler? He's like, I'm looking you in the eye, and then and turn around, and you're behind me.
The mainstream media.
Oh, they call him the lamestream and say Concast.
The only thing he cares about is political power, and he will use that power to hurt you and to enrich his cronies and his friends.
I mean, this is like a dude whose wife is leaving him for somebody who actually gives a shit after he's been beating her for years, and he's basically standing between her and the door making up stories about the other dude.
And most...
I want the knife, please.
Of all, to enrich his family. Vote for Joe Biden is a vote to put far-left radicals like Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar.
Didn't she endorse somebody else?
And AOC plus 3.
She's part of the plus 3.
And gun grabber Beto O'Rourke wants to take your guns away, wants to destroy your Second Amendment, into cabinet positions controlling the entire federal government, and then they want to pack the courts. They want to pack those courts, the Supreme Court. They want to put radical justices who will confiscate your guns, terminate your religious liberty, erase all of your borders, and stifle life.
Stifle life. Stifle it, Blondie. Mel, kiss my grits. Stifle life. Yeah, we've decided, I gotta say, as Democrats, we were super pro-abortion. I mean, we love the idea of aborting just people, just for fun. Like sport abortion's the whole big thing. We've been running for it for years. I mean, it's really the secret thing we're doing. But we decided now abortion is so 10 years ago. So now what we do is we just stand there and everything the kid tries, we kind of slow their roll. We're not going to abort anybody anymore. We're just going to make life hard for them by not giving them a head start or school lunches. Or, oh, wait, that's not us. What party does that? Right.
If you want strong borders, strong families, safe communities, and a thriving economy, then
vote Joe Biden.
I am asking you to go out on November 3rd and vote for your all-time favorite president.
Barack Obama is running again? Holy shit.
One of... Thank you.
I know you guys are trying, but he's not feeling it.
One of the most crucial issues for Minnesota in this election is the subject of refugees.
Oh boy. Here come the Somalis.
This is a vital matter of national security. To protect our country, I issued a directive suspending the entry of refugees from foreign nations compromised by terrorism like you've never seen before.
Really? Terrorism like we've never seen before. You do realize how we got into the war on terror, right? You do realize we've seen some, I mean, what are they going to, is there a World Trade Center in Minneapolis?
Including from Syria, Somalia, and Yemen.
Oh, no, I haven't.
We're keeping radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. I spoke to President Macron of France yesterday and put out my warmest sympathy for what they've been through over the last 4
You put out your warmest sympathy. You put out, oh, so you felt put out because you had to make the call. Is that what we're saying?
days with terrorist attacks, the likes of which few have seen. Biden has pledged a staggering
What are you talking about? We've seen shit tons of those things.
100% increase in refugees from the most dangerous and violent terrorist hotspots anywhere in the world. He has also vowed to terminate our national...
Aren't the people, in theory, who are leaving the violence not the ones we have to worry about?
Security travel bans, which I fought very hard to get, which I won in the Supreme Court, allowing for unlimited migration.
He's just blazing through this one. He's just reading the shit off and he's going to walk
From
away.
war zones and terrorist havens. He said, bring them in. Biden's deadly migration policies will overwhelm Minnesota and overwhelm...
Migration policies, not immigration policies. Migration policies.
Taxpayers and open the...
So he's not talking... He must be talking about bison.
Floodgates to terrorists, jihadists, and violent extremists. Under my administration, the safety of our families will always come first. America first, our families.
America first.
With your support, we will continue to bring back your jobs, cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our great police, support our military, defend our...
Just give me a bullet point list. Get me the out of here.
Borders, protect our Second Amendment, which is totally under siege, but don't worry, as long as I'm here, nothing's happening with it.
Yeah, you know, you let Obama in there for 8 years, your guns are gonzo.
Protect
Cheers,
religious
Cassie,
liberty and ensure more products are proudly stamped with the very wonderful and beautiful phrase, made in the USA.
Dude so hates this.
Yesterday it was announced.
Oops. What the heck happened there? Audio drop? Whoa. What was this?
They support crippling shutdowns that crush blue-collar jobs, them ripping down your city. Keith Ellison sided with flag-burning extremists, and they want one set of rules for you and no enforcement. We will hire more big pharma and sell out to foreign. Thank you.
Part two.
Is the subject of refugees compromised by terrorism like you've never seen before, including from Syria, Somalia, and Yemen. We're keeping radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. I spoke to
Macron.
Spoke to and violent terrorist hotspots anywhere in the world.
Hotspots?
I fought very hard to get, which I won in the Supreme Court, allowing for unlimited migration from war zones and terrorist havens.
Yeah, we're seeing there's laugh track and applause track in this. There's some legit people there, but they're also using that to cover.
He said, bring them in.
The samples again.
Biden's deadly migration policies will overwhelm Minnesota and overwhelm taxpayers and open the floodgates to terrorists, jihadists, and violent extremists. Under my administration, the safety of our families will always come first. America first, our families first. With your support, we will continue to bring back
Jillian, thirsty.
your jobs, cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our great police, support our military, defend our borders, protect our Second Amendment, which is totally under siege, but don't worry, as long as I'm here, nothing's happening with it. Protect religious liberty and ensure more products are proudly stamped with the very one. Yesterday it was announced that last quarter our economy grew at the fastest rate ever recorded. History of our country, 33.1%. People were shocked. I wasn't.
Because I know it's a manufactured number that if you look at where it went down, it looks like shit.
Increase in the history of our country by far. 1952, but it was a rate less than half. We are creating an economic powerhouse, a superpower, the likes of which the world has never seen before. We are building the biggest, strongest, and most prosperous middle class in human history, and I
That's not even close to true. What the hell?
am fighting for higher wages, more jobs, more opportunity, and we
Good stuff. Christmas, happy, yum yums, sneaky snacks, crunchy, salty, and sweet.
will keep it right there, and we will bring it right here to the USA where it belongs.
He's like leaning on the. I gotta get. All right, let's finish this shit. Bring it in, big. Come on, big guy. Come on, man. Come on. Rick fucking Dalton. Act like it.
Joe Biden has never succeeded before. Barack Obama said that if you want to see things screwed up, just ask Joe Biden to do it.
Sorry, what?
Joe Biden will ship your factories to
What? What?
China. Barack Obama said that if you want to see things screwed up, just ask Joe Biden to do it.
What? Just, I mean, does it really matter? I'm going to lose in 3 days anyways. Might as well swing for the fences with the ripest bullshit I can find. Just chucking road apples into the mouths of these waiting morons. Yeah, totally that happened.
Joe Biden will ship your factories to China, impose a $4 trillion tax hike, eliminate private health care, abolish the entire oil industry and fracking, and send your state into a crippling depression. Biden's anti-energy, anti-worker policy
It's rolling through this shit.
would be a nightmare for
Can they not afford the lights? Is the f-stop turned down really bad?
Latino and African American workers all across our land. Biden will also continue his 47 years of cruelly betraying African Americans. He called them super predators.
No, he didn't.
1994, ripped apart their communities and did everything in his power to wipe out the black middle class. And they understand
Oh, look at this sparse crowd. He's so pissed.
it better than anybody. And I think you'll probably see that at the voter booth. They understand
The voter brute.
he's done better than anybody. Super predators, he said. Now Biden wants to wipe out the entire U.S. economy for black Americans, Hispanic Americans, and all Americans. He has no idea what he's doing. He wants to
Right side's panning over to show the crowd. You guys never pan over. Notice he didn't say, you guys don't pan over and show the crowd in this one.
give you the largest tax increase in the history of our country by
The Michigan rally, yeah. No, we skipped past that part.
far. Joe Biden's plan will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, crash the economy, and shut down our entire country. Under the Biden lockdown, which he talks about and cherishes,
Biden's cherished lockdown.
countless Americans will die from suicide, drug overdoses, and deferred medical care.
Look, just because you're not counting COVID deaths doesn't mean that countless Americans die of other stuff. There's a count. We know how many.
At a level like you haven't seen before, There will be no school, no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no 4th of July, no Easter, no nothing. There will
No nothing. No Easter. Does he think Easter's after 4th?
be no future for America's youth.
No future. It's just gone. You're just going to live in death and sorrow and sadness. No matter how resilient Americans are, they would never rebound from a 6-week lockdown starting in sometime in January.
Plan, we will deliver a safe vaccine to the American people in just a matter of weeks, and it will be something that will be very, very special. And we are...
It will, really. It's going to come in a little Tiffany box.
Rounding the turn on the pandemic, with or without vaccine. We have the vaccine. It's going to come.
But we really don't need it.
But even with...
You know what? Keep the lights off.
Without it, we're rounding the turn. Seniors will be first in line to get it, and it will be available free. Wasn't their fault. It wasn't our fault.
No cheap vaccine.
It was the fault of China.
No Christmas Eve. No Easter, no. 4th of July, Biden is so mean.
Should have kept it within their limits. Our vaccine will eradicate the virus and the pandemic, and it will...
What's the difference? Both?
And
wait a minute, are there two things?
Quickly restore normal life. That's what...
Yeah, quickly. Totally. Okay, everybody back out. You got the shot. We don't know if it works. Go back out tomorrow. What?
We want is normal life. Take us back 7 months. Normal life.
Dude.
Record-setting everything in a normal life.
No, we didn't have record-setting everything in 7 months ago. 7 months ago, it was friggin' March. Shit was getting bad.
And next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. We will wipe out the China...
And by the way, no friggin' way. By his standard, things will go up next year after there's a vaccine and treatments and we've gotten through a big portion of this. There will definitely be a statistical rise that will reflect everybody going back to normal life. But the rise in productivity or value in industry and all that kind of stuff, and the debt that'll need to be paid off from what happened, and people recovering and trying to start a new business and all that shit, that won't really rebound for another year after that, if not more. That's being generous.
The plague once and for all. We're joined today by Congressman Jim Hagedorn and Congressman Tom Emmer. Thank you, fellas. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jim. Tom. Great warriors. They've been with me all the way. And congressional candidate, somebody that's really outstanding. I think you two agree, right? You two agree? Michelle Fischbach. Great job. I saw you in the debate. You did a fantastic job. Thank you, Michelle. Great job. State Senator Paul Gazelka. Paul, thank you. Thank you, Paul. State Representative Kurt Doubt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kurt. Like your hat. Are we doing well, Jennifer?
Oh, he's trying. He's going through the motions.
I think we're going to win. 1972, and you have been treated very, very badly. In addition, friend of mine, Mike Lindell. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. Former Vince star, really, huh? One. Great job. And former this is a big one, really. Matt Burke, Minnesota Viking star, superstar, really, huh? Look at him. Look like you could play tomorrow. Thank you very much, Matt. Great honor to meet you. Another vital issue in this race is the Minnesota Iron Range. I brought it back to life. It was dead, it was closed, it was sealed, and you weren't going to use it for anything. As vice president, Joe Biden tried to obliterate the Iron Range. 7 plants were idled. The rest were closing very shortly. And there was barely a whimper. I brought the Iron Range roaring back to life. I have friends that live in Minnesota. They said it was so unfair. When it was closed, a man came up to me. I don't know who he was, but he was a strong, big, powerful man, and he was crying. And he said, they've taken my life away when they closed the Iron Range. Well, I opened it. That was the most convincing of all. Everybody wanted me to do it. But when I saw him, I said, there's no doubt about it. And it's fully opened and really doing phenomenally. And it has the best iron, they say, anywhere in the world, but you had it closed, so it's great. Congratulations.
Sorry. My mic died. I hadn't charged it. Sorry. Whoops.
Congratulations. It was my honor.
Thanks.
That area is now thriving. It's thriving. It was desolate. It's now thriving. 9 Democrat mayors in the Iron Range have endorsed me because they know Biden will shut down the Iron Range forever.
No, he won't.
And by the way, they will shut it down as fast as I opened it up, and they'll shut it down permanently the next time. They said we made a mistake. We didn't do it through legislature. We made a mistake. They will shut it down permanently. So I hope you remember that. I just hope you remember that, especially on November 3rd. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in American history.
Weird, like, every so often there's a weird, like, digital hit.
Biden's plan to admit unlimited low-wage foreign workers will slash income, surge unemployment, and devastate your middle class, all to enrich his globalist donors. He raises money like crazy because he's making deals. They're giving him millions of dollars. I could raise much more than him, but I don't want to be compromised. I won't be compromised. And we don't need the money. We don't need the money. That's how they've raised all of that money, because they're making deals with Wall Street. As president, I will only advance immigration policies that put American workers and families first. You, the American people, are my only special interest. That's why I did this. And I had a very nice life before doing this, I have to tell you. I will continue fighting for you harder than anyone has ever done before. The forgotten men and women of our country will never, ever be forgotten again. And you know that, and you saw that. 4 years ago, we had a very, very exciting time. This is even more exciting, and frankly, this is a more important election, and I never thought I'd be saying that. A vote for me.
Oh, I knew you would be. You've been saying it every
in
time.
the Republican Party is a vote for the American dream.
And that's really what
so
it is.
Minnesota, this is that very important time is fine.
He just doesn't like small crowds. He's one of those fuckers that just... See, one thing you learn when you've performed for the entire spectrum of size of crowds, because he was born on third base and thought he hit a triple, and so the first time he went out in public or whatever, he had an automatic audience no matter what. So he doesn't understand, like, getting to a point where you're recognized because you brought value. That an audience, whether it's got 10 people in it or 10,000, is made up of individuals. And entertaining those individuals is what's important. And at a certain point, you get a rolling crowd because it's larger. If you're apt to succeed at all, volume will always help you as far as the crowd goes. But once you start pulling the crowd down, you see who the true performer is in those circumstances. And in this case, no. Again, it's dark as shit.
This is it. This is the history of our nation. This is a very, very big moment for our country. This Tuesday or sooner.
Oh, almost.
Get out.
They took the neutral density filter off.
Vote. Every one of you.
Yeah, they had an ND filter on it the entire time. It's still dark. But they're like, shit, it was so bright earlier, we forgot to take the ND filter off.
Remember what your governor did this evening. And it's a small thing, but a horrible thing to thousands and thousands of people that are outside that could be here.
Getting COVID.
We could all be together.
Dying.
A horrible
killing everybody.
Thing that they did. Your state and your country depend on you. We depend on your vote. We depend on your loyalty, and you have my loyalty. That you know and that you found out.
What do you prefer for comedy shows, small or large crowds? I think my favorite crowd sizes are between 500 and 1,000.
size-wise. But I mean, like, the Chicago theater is pretty great, but it becomes like crowd control. Once you hit 2,000, it's a different, you're not really operating for laughs. You're doing the show for muscle memory and you're listening for noise. It doesn't even sound like laughter when you're up there. Like, I did 15,000 people at Panther Pavilion when I opened for the Bee Gees. And I mean, it's ridiculous. It was like performing off the deck of an aircraft carrier facing the ocean. Like, you would just, and the sound traveled in such a way that the timing of a joke would trigger a laugh in the front and then wave its way back and then wave its way forward. It took me like 5 minutes just to get my sea legs to understand where the joke anchor in the timing was.
Together we are going to make history. On November 3rd, we're going to make history, and this will be very special for Minnesota. People have been talking about it for years, but it never quite works out. Even with me, we lost by half a point. One more stop. I should have come one more time, just one more time. But you know,
you think that would have turned it?
But it's not going to matter because we're going to have an even bigger victory on November 3rd. So I want to thank you. God bless you. God bless Minnesota. And God bless America. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Pointing.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Mike.
Point.
Thank you, everybody. Nice seeing you, Matt.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Music. Nope, no music. Oh, yeah, okay, finally did. Stop it. He's not dancing much on this one. Take a point, thumb up your ass, clap, fup, fup, fup. Fist, fist, right in my face. Thank you. Wave. Bye. Okay, I'm done. Thank you. Zeke Heil. Hail Hydra. Look at me running down these steps. Miracle. Look, I'm fantastic. Don't move the car at the same time. I think I'm falling. Wave, wave, wave. There you go. Disney princess, and I'm gone. Get me in that thing and take me to the fundraiser, and then I'll go back to the plane. See? Boss is going to walk to the, yeah. Oh, so he didn't want to take the, he's walking straight to the plane. They have the beast set up so that they can drive him, but he's like, I'm gone. It's like, I don't even want to get in the thing. He just canceled an event, or he doesn't know he's supposed to go someplace. Fuck this. Like, he's just, look at this. La, 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 la. Stupid. Wait, I forgot my keys anyway. Valet, bring my plane around. I gotta get the hell out of here. Oh, son of a... Don't get near me. I'm mad. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Say, suckers. All right, yeah, okay. Where do you, sir? Up the stairs, sir. Don't go into the plane again. There you go. Yep, up the steps. Thank you. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. He walks like a Skeksis. Trial by stone. Trial by stone. Trial by stone. Okay, screw this. I'll turn around, wave at these jackasses, tap, bye. Says, give it my best Nixon. See you later. Yeah, right in my hair. Thanks, okay. Okay, oh, and duck over that way. Almost ate shit right then. Oh, that's not good. Was that just me, or did he just almost fall getting into the plane? Yep. He almost fell down. He may have fallen down. We can't see in the windows. That's fun. Yeah. That was definitely a stumble. Holy smokes. Somebody get me Hannity on the phone. I need cuddles. Yeah, absolutely. Holy smokes. That's pretty awful. Walks like a slee stack. Yeah, they're just going to bring the vehicles around, drive them up into the other transport plane, and off you go. Yeah, he's totally tired. And we're done. Is that Scott Atlas with a mask on? Oh, and here's the dude at the wall and all the people from right side, and they're all gathering around. Isn't that adorable? Meanwhile, all right, I'm going to let you guys go. We'll try and, these are getting longer as we get into the election. Hopefully right after that, we'll go back to a slightly shorter thing.
slightly. We'll see. So after our 24-hour stream on actual election day, but anyways, well, yeah, some of the drugs are wearing off. They wore off a long time ago. So radio tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 9 to 11. Excuse me, and that's it. I just have to do the radio show tomorrow because I got a long drive ahead of me. And then Sunday night is the Flappers show. I'm doing stand-up at Flappers. We're gonna only have, I think, like 8 people in the actual live crowd because it's really a streaming show. Go to flapperscomedy.com for tickets, and I don't get paid for those gigs. The money goes to the staff of Flappers to try and keep them on their feet. So, and I don't know if Johnny's back tomorrow. I think so, but I don't know. I will find out probably the same time you guys do, as I have the last couple of weeks. But we shall see what we shall see. If he lets me know tonight, I might, maybe I'll see if Richard Hunter wants to join me or something like that for it, and sidecar. So yeah, I'm enjoying you making fun of how boring he is now. Well, yeah, it's kind of extraordinary. I mean, that is the story. Look at these folks, man. They have to deal with this all the time. These people have to be, these people are professionally, wait, here it is. These folks are professionally excited by Donald Trump. The right side people over there. Is a My Pillow ad happening right now. But can you imagine? I mean, it's one thing to be a supporter and only seeing one of these things and kind of like, hey, it's Trump, and I'm going to vote for him, and I like the guy, blah blah blah. Wherever your life path is that brought you to being a Trump supporter, I don't know. But imagine being Sean Hannity, where it's your job to cradle this dude's nuts. Ugh. God awful. And by the way, Trump's thing just ended a bit ago. It was, obviously it ends before we finish, but let's see, this is
about how strong he is. He's strong, and the rest of the nation's. Trump keeps talking about how strong he is. He's strong, and the rest of the nations listen to him. Everybody's afraid of him. Well, let me tell you what. He's the first president I'm aware of in American history that 6 generals, including his former chief of staff, 6 of them left, resigned, and said he wasn't fit to be commander-in-chief. General Stanley McChrystal, Special Operations Commander.
By the way, Biden's got his campaign plane in the background. He's totally trolling Trump right now. Like, yeah, we got a plane in the background too. We can park it closer so it looks just as big. How you like them apples, kiddo? Battle for the Soul of America. He's got his graphics up, all that stuff.
Command, he's the guy that oversaw the bin Laden raid. Bill McGraven. And 22 he oversaw. He was the SEAL. He headed up the SEALs. And 22 4-stars have endorsed me, saying they trust me to be the next commander-in-chief of the United States military. Folks, it's about respect. It's about support. And that's why the Military Times, which the staff tried to wipe out, Military Times just wrote an article saying more active duty troops support Biden than Trump. So much for the guy who talks about what a tough guy is and why everybody listens to him. Look, that's why we have to support the military, and we have to make sure we considerably invest more, which don't have to take the time to talk to you tonight about, but invest significantly more in dealing with the Veterans Administration. And while Donald Trump fails to condemn white supremacy, we can vote to deliver racial justice. Folks, a season of protest has broken out all over this nation. And protesting is not burning and looting and violence. It must never be tolerated. It won't. That's not protesting.
There you go. So handled like the whole he wants looters and rioters to set fire to your baby and all that shit. And he's like, no, people are protesting. Rioting and looting is not protesting. End of conversation.
Those protests are cries for justice. The names of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, they're not going to soon be forgotten. Not by me, not by us, not by this country. We have to vote to meet the challenge of climate crisis as well. More frequent extreme weather. Literally, the planet's at stake. We're told.
By the way, I don't think he has to wear a mask when he's outside and he's this far away from everybody. I really don't. I mean, I like it better when he comes up, takes his mask off, and puts it back on. I think that's a better strategy. They choose different standards because of where they are. Now, those people seem slightly closer to him than normal, so he might decide in those situations that they're 12 feet away and he's talking to them. That's, you know, and because it's a smaller crowd, he wants to leave his mask on. I get that. That's totally cool. And if that's the reason, then he should continue to do it. But if not, if they can move him to a position where he's, you know, either a little further back, it might be, you know, he can go without a mask and speak and then put his mask back on. And I think it also makes people more relaxed when you recognize that you wear your mask when you can't socially distance, and then you can take it off in certain situations and put it back on, and you're still being, you know, you're properly following the guidelines.
Number of years before it's irreversible is getting narrower and narrower. The West is on fire. More forest land has been burned to the ground.
If they moved him back a little bit in this situation from here to here, he would be socially distancing properly. They have a mic set up, so it's not like people won't hear him, and he could take his mask off and not interact with people. You know, but there's like older people right here in front, and some of them are reporters especially, and, you know, you do not want to get those people sick if you're carrying it and you manage to be fine, or have them get you sick because, you know, they laugh or say something, you know, towards you. So that's it's certainly a situation, but they are outside. It can work.
And the entire square miles of Rhode Island and Connecticut combined. The Midwest is flooding. Here in Wisconsin, extreme weather incurs big costs for your infrastructure. Lake Michigan set a record high this past January. In the south and the east, hurricanes are more severe. Oceans are rising. My state's only 3 feet above sea level, literally. People are worried what happens if we don't change this. Folks, Donald Trump thinks that when he says climate change, he says hoax. Well, this stable genius, as he calls himself, also thinks that wind power causes cancer. The way to stop hurricanes coming across the warm Atlantic from Africa is to maybe drop a nuclear bomb on them. The same stable genius said the problem we had in the Revolutionary War, we didn't have enough airports. In the Revolutionary War, God saved the... anyway. Look, when I hear climate change...
It's like this fucking guy.
I think the health of our children, the security of the planet, and I also think it creates jobs. Jobs here in Wisconsin, all across the country. Folks, combating climate change means saving the planet, protecting our health, and creating millions of good-paying jobs, union jobs, right here in Milwaukee and all across America. We can change the path we're on, but we have to act now because we can't afford 4 more years of Donald Trump. This election.
So, yeah. Anyways, this is, you guys, I recommend watching, you know, the speeches that he puts out or whatever, but it's a little palate cleanser at the end. And I'm going to take off. I got to get some semblance of food in me and some semblance of rest for radio tomorrow and my crazy weekend that I have coming up. But yeah, he's not an open hangar. He's in. He's at the edge of a hangar. They might be at the lip of it. Maybe that's what the flooring change is, but I can't tell. It might be a display space too. So they might have like a helicopter pad and they're using that or something along those lines. It's possible because of the size. But anyways, you guys have a great night. I will say these rings will haunt people for years to come. Totally. It's like in Superman when the circles they put Zod in that are like rolling. Guilty. All right. So hold on. I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Like I said.
we will, and then it'll be a regular show and a little bit of a post show tomorrow. Kind of back to a normal schedule for that tomorrow. But take care of yourselves, take care of somebody else. I'll be doing some special stream stuff over the weekend for my for patrons and the like, and more. I'll post about what that is on Sunday. So yeah. And yeah, that's it. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night. Be well. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the support, you guys. It's really fantastic. Thanks to Reb and Sherry and Sherry Scary and Susie and Mark and Debbie and thanks Rob, by the way, for the bits again. Thanks everybody for the stars over at Facebook. I appreciate that as well, you guys. Thanks Mary and Mary Kit and Mary Schiller and Robin and Barry and Janice. And I want to thank Victor and Kimberly and Lynn and Linda and Jules for sharing the stream over there. It's really awesome. Thank you guys so much. And thanks for the people who've become a supporter over there. I haven't really created tiers for what that stuff means, but it's good of you to support the show. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time for the radio show. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Have a great night. Don't forget, vote. If you haven't voted already, if you haven't mailed in your ballot, you gotta carry it, drop it off. Drop it off at an actual drop ballot box or at the government facility or office where they take ballots in your area. No choice. You have to do it that way. All right. You guys are awesome. See you tomorrow.
I had a beat off. They're genius. They get it better than these guys that are looking at stuff.
Euromisia.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Person, woman, man.
Yosemites.
Michigan gave us Motang.
Person, woman, man.
Michigan gave us Motang.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
Michigan gave us Motang.
And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges.
Somebody like that can write good. Somebody like that can write good.
Yosemites, wildlife refuges. I mean, you look at this, you look at what we do with our wildlife.
I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Yosemites. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
I had a beat off.
you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?